Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Hey, Baton Rouge, it's Peter Burns. Join me and Katie George every Sunday morning at 6 for Best Week Ever right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hey, y'all, it's Marty Smith. Join Ryan McGee. Hey, that's me. And me for Marty and McGee, Saturday mornings, 7, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. on Thursday, December the 3rd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect thunderstorms with a high of 62. Coming up today on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota, LSU Athletics Executive Chef Michael Johnson joins the show at 7:30. He's going to answer your Munchie questions, so get those in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Barstool Sports' Ben Mintz stops by to give us his six-pack of picks at 8 a.m. Follow today's show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. Watch live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Make sure you get subscribed to the Off the Bench and the Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channel. Set your notifications. New content is posted there daily. Hour number 1 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria, online, 104.5 ESPN.com. Good Thursday morning to you. Jordy Collada, T-Bob Hebert, Danny Cardenas, and Matthew Musso going to be here with you until 10 a.m. this morning, answering your food questions with Chef Michael Johnson coming up at 7:30 this morning, so 30 minutes from now. Jump inside of the Bayou Ford chat app. You got food questions for the chef. In fact, we received one earlier this week in an email from a listener in Colorado who listens to the show every day on the stream.
Hell yeah.
And has a specific question for the chef that he wanted to get in earlier this week. I'm pulling up the email now. But shout out to my guy out in Colorado. I'll get your name here shortly. 8 o'clock
Send
this
us
morning.
some Colorado stuff.
Ben Mintz, Barstool Sports, giving you a six-pack of winners. Mintzy will check in at 8 a.m. this morning. Kyle McDaniel listens to the show every morning on the ESPN app in Colorado. Ask the chef, I have duck eggs. I have ducks that are starting to lay eggs. Do you ever use duck eggs?
Oh.
Any suggested dishes?
Okay.
We'll ask the chef 7:30 this morning. If you've got food questions, remember, jump inside the Bayou Ford chat app. LSU's playing Bama on Saturday night. You remember that?
Oh, I remember. And we're going to talk about it today in the final hour as I have dove into what I do every week around this time, where you look at the statistical rankings of your opponent. And it paints quite the impressive picture. It gives you, definitely reinforces the long odds that you are currently facing.
Another bad headline and story in the LSU and alleged sexual abuse cover-up case yesterday by the Advocate. We'll get to that story coming up here on OTB as well. Here are your headlines on this Thursday, December 3rd. As always, brought to you by Barbecue Guys.
OTB headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. They're your one-stop shop for everything outdoor kitchens and living. Barbecue Guys, helping America host better barbecues since 1998.
During his weekly radio show on Wednesday night, head coach Ed Orgeron of the LSU football team said that true freshman quarterback TJ Finley will likely start versus Alabama on Saturday night. Orgeron added that fellow true freshman quarterback Max Johnson will also see playing time versus the Crimson Tide. Here's O last night talking about his team's mentality heading into Saturday's matchup versus number 1 Bama.
Today we had our best practice of the year. The guys are fired up. They're fired up to play Alabama. The players came out today, worked very hard. I think we've had a good week of practice. We got to respect Terrence's decision. 2 weeks ago he had a team meeting about playing out, about everybody sticking together. Obviously, he had a change of heart. We're going to respect that. Terrence is a great Tiger. We wish him the best, but you know what? Next man up. Somebody's going to step up.
More from Ogeron last night talking about the health of his squad.
Overall, we're pretty darn good. About as good as we've been all year. You know, we got Miles out. We have Rachel McMath out. Other than that, we're healthy and ready to go.
So I've heard a lot of people kind of snicker at the next man up mentality and what everybody's been talking about after the Terrace Marshall news. And I understand what you're saying, service level, because next man up. I mean, well, you don't have another Terrace Marshall. So, but first off, what are you supposed to say? But secondly, maybe more importantly, I don't think you have a chance of winning this game with Terrace Marshall, right? So, like, I actually don't know that it's the biggest deal that you don't have him.
I don't know
for
if you
this
can win the game
stretch.
with Marshall and Chase.
I think that the only game that he could maybe affect the win-loss column would be the Ole Miss game. So I think that's the best chance that you have of winning still. But like the rest of this team, there's now a little added value to kind of figuring out what these young guys can do, throwing them in the deep end and just having them sink or swim on their own.
Nick Saban was speaking in Tuscaloosa and gave his opening thoughts on the Tigers.
This is obviously become a big game for both programs. We have a lot of respect for LSU, their team, their players, their program. They played extremely well in the last few weeks. Their defense just gave up 13 points to a very good A&M team. They've been scoring over 30 points a game. Had a lot of good players, and our players have been really good about the practice and the preparation and doing what we need to do to try to prepare for the game. Obviously, this is always a difficult place to play, but we're also looking forward to, the challenge.
One more from Saban talking about how he feels after being COVID positive last week for the Iron Bowl.
I'm feeling great, and I'll be evaluated by the medical staff on a daily basis, and I still fully expect to be able to coach, this game on Saturday.
Sweet. LSU, Alabama, Saturday night. Bama minus 29 inside Tiger Stadium with kickoff set for 7 o'clock on CBS. NFL on Wednesday, the Pittsburgh Steelers stayed perfect with a weird win, 19-14, over the undermanned Baltimore Ravens in the first NFL game on Wednesday in 8 seasons. The New Orleans Saints now have the NFL's number 1 ranked defense, averaging 284 yards per game, only giving up 284 yards per game. Cam Jordan is set to meet Matt Ryan in the Atlanta Falcons again this weekend. Jordan has sacked Ryan 21 times throughout his career. That's more than any player has sacked any one quarterback since it became an official stat back in 1982. Jordan surpassed Hall of Famers like Bruce Smith, who sacked Ken O'Brien with the Jets 17.5 times. Derek Thomas sacked John Elway of the Broncos 17 times. Now Jordan owns the top spot with Matt Ryan's name next to it at 21 sacks for Jordan versus Matt Ryan.
Yeah, and the wild part about it is it's in 19 career games, so averaging over a sack. I remember going into this season's matchup, he had 18 and 18, and then his 3-sack explosion put him over the top. I wonder if he can do the same on Sunday and extend this record even more. And this is going to be a hard record to touch. Which, I mean, whatever. You can get into how big a record is it, but it's going to be hard to touch because it requires not just you, the pass rusher, to be good for a really long time, but it requires you to have a divisional opponent quarterback that's going to stick around and be good for a very long time. So Cam Jordan can see his name etched in the record books for many, 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 many years.
Lots of NBA news about to hit your timelines as NBA free agency is about to hit a flurry with the season about 20 days away from starting. We told you yesterday New Orleans is going to bat leadoff in the Christmas Day lineup for NBA games as the Pelicans will be visiting the Miami Heat. Yesterday it became official that the Washington Wizards and Houston Rockets have agreed to trade 2 disgruntled star point guards as John Wall and Russell Westbrook are switching teams in a blockbuster deal. The Wizards are sending Wall and a lottery-protected pick, first-round NBA pick, to the Rockets for Westbrook in a deal that both players wanted and have been asking out of both franchises for weeks. And then this just breaking as we're getting on the air this morning. Woj broke it and dropped a Woj bomb at about 6:55 this morning saying that All-NBA forward Anthony Davis is finalizing a 5-year, $190 million maximum contract to stay with the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers. Clutch Sports CEO and founder Rich Paul told that to ESPN and Woj this morning. The deal includes an early termination option prior to the 5th season, which would come in the 2024 and 2025 season. Davis is a free agent and is expected to sign the contract today. That news comes on the heels of yesterday, Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James agreeing to a 2-year, $85 million contract extension with the Los Angeles Lakers. James, who turns 36 later this month, was averaging at the end of last season 25 points and 10 assists per game. He will be 38 when this contract ends. His career earnings from NBA contracts will now exceed $430 million by the time of his extension. So LA shoring up their two faces of Davis and James for at least the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know if those Lakers draft picks are going to turn into any big-time picks. Like, it's still picks, so maybe you hit some people with it, but it looks like the Lakers will be selecting in the back half of the draft for the foreseeable future.
Well, they might get Giannis in next year's free agency.
Yeah. I guess I haven't really considered that.
You know Giannis's brother plays for the Lakers.
I did not know that. That would be horrible. I wonder how you'd make that work. I mean, I guess you just roll the ball out and see what happens. So many giants on the court at the same time. Him and AD are kind of similar in ways, but yeah, that would be over the top. Right now, Giannis strikes me as the person that would not take that route. I'm not saying he won't join up with somebody. I don't know if he would join up there. But we've all been wrong in the past, right?
Don't you have to in today's NBA?
Well, I think you got to join up with someone, but to join AD and LeBron in LA would be a little exorbitant in my mind. Almost like what they're talking about going on with the Nets. I will say this, though. It was Kevin Durant back in the day who talked about how soft that was, right? And how he didn't want to, go and join up. He wanted to be competitive, and then he literally made the worst tag team move of all time, most over-the-top tag team move of all time. So who knows? That would be, in my opinion, that would be really bad for the NBA. If Giannis was to join the Lakers, it would, as a spectator who's not a fan of Lakers, or just anybody who's not a fan of Lakers, nobody else would enjoy that.
We told you that the Pittsburgh Steelers stayed undefeated yesterday. It may have come at a cost, as their star linebacker, Bud Dupree, may have torn his ACL. He limped off the field yesterday in the third quarter. Dupree is playing in a franchise tag season right now where he's playing on a 1-year deal worth $15.6 million. We'll wait and see what the MRI says today about the Steelers starting linebacker. But Dupree was one of the headline guys for Pittsburgh's star-studded defense that has the Steelers remaining undefeated through 11 weeks of the NFL season.
And you always feel bad when a guy gets injured on that franchise tag.
Yeah.
Because of that rule, which just allows teams to extend guys for little to no risk. It's now kept him back from long-term security, and when he goes sign a new contract, it will have literally cost him millions of dollars.
Your food questions, we'll answer them 15 minutes from now. Get them inside of the Bayou Ford chat app with the hashtag Munchies. You have a question for Chef Michael Johnson. Jump in and we'll get it answered here in about 15 minutes. Ben Mintz is going to stop by at 8 a.m. this morning and give us a 6-pack of winners here on OTB.
OTB headlines are presented daily by Barbecue Guys. Remember, the most popular grill on the market is Blaze Grills. Blaze Grills is headquartered in Baton Rouge. Shop on the web at barbecueguys.com. Off the Bench with Jordy Culinary and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Central Plumbing Company brings you OTB Daily here. Remember online, centralplumbing.org. 925-8552, the convenient phone number. Hopefully by now you've got that typed into your contacts list. If not, store it right now under Central Plumbing Company. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. If you've got a plumbing issue at the office, at the house, Central Plumbing Company is the name and number you need to get in touch with. 225 area code 925-8552 or online centralplumbing.org.
Centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org, 225-925-8552. If you have any plumbing issues, they've been at it for 40 years. Very humble beginnings, small shop. When you look at them now, they've got a huge fleet with all the vans. It's not just residential, the office buildings. If you have a business, you need all of your plumbing needs met. They got you. They can handle that kind of workload. But what if it is just your home, right? And it's something simple, complex, a shower that won't drain, or like water squirting out of somewhere. They've seen it all. They can fix it all. Go to centralplumbing.org, 925-8552.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Looking forward to it in our Fantasy Blitz. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, answering your food questions coming up here in 12 minutes. Remember, hop inside of the Bayou Ford chat app. We will get them over to Chef Michael Johnson as he is here with us on Off the Bench every Thursday. So is Ben Mintz. Mintzy will stop by at 8 a.m. this morning and give us the games to watch out for the weekend, as the NFL closed up their week yesterday afternoon in Pittsburgh with a 2:30 kickoff. That was some ugly football, but got done 19-14. Baltimore falls to Pittsburgh. Steelers stay undefeated. We said watch one of the storylines that could pop up from this game is that Bud Dupree, the star linebacker for Pittsburgh, may be out with they fear an ACL injury. They'll wait for the MRI results coming up today. So we will wait and see what happens there. Saints are going to play on Sunday versus Atlanta. That's a noon start in Atlanta. So your Eagle 98.1 pregame will crank up at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning following LSU Bama on that same flagship station. As we said, the Saints have the number one defense in the league. You're a little concerned about this one going in, right?
Well, so I'm of two minds. I am surface level concerned, where a lot of my concerns just come from like kind of playing the law of averages, right? That like it's tough to beat
8 straight weeks.
Yeah, it's tough to beat a divisional opponent that you know this well twice. You've won so many games in a row, or you do have an eventual slip up. The Falcons are this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde team where, you know, if not for 3 of the most inexplicable blown leads you've literally ever seen, right? When you're talking about 3 98% losses, all of a sudden you're talking about a 6-4 team. And you're talking about a team that beat a pretty good Raiders team 43-6 last week. So that makes analysis and prediction hard right there, because like, which Atlanta Falcons team are you going to get? And so while numbers-wise, and even if you look at the matchup 2 weeks ago, I mean, there's ample reason to feel that absolutely the Saints will roll again. And when I asked Jeff Duncan, that is kind of what he answered yesterday, is that, look, I mean, kind of get where you're coming from, but the situation is the situation. If you just look at how this series has gone recently, there is no reason to expect this one to really play out any differently. Like, the Saints' defensive line will dominate. The Falcons' offense will not be able to do anything, and the Saints' offense will lean on them, as they can do with this Taysom Hill rushing attack, before Atlanta eventually breaks. So, logically, looking at the numbers, absolutely. The Saints should win this game, and we get into that more because the defense is even better now than it was 2 weeks ago, when you consider that Quan Alexander just continues to fit in and grow his role more and more each week. And like, now, the one weakness that you had on this defense maybe, and Alex Anzalone, is now becoming a strength. I mean, I was talking to Old Man yesterday, and if you look at the PFF rankings and everything, Devin White's starting to slip a bit. He's been really struggling in pass coverage. And so, I mean, there's an argument to be made now that Demario Davis and Quan Alexander may actually be the best linebacker tandem in the NFC South. So it's a defense that is even better than last time out. It's an offense that should be more comfortable with itself. Now, maybe the Falcons have more data there to work with, and so they have more success. But numbers-wise, everything says that the Saints should win this game. I'm just worried about how the NFL works and how these teams look. When it is a division rival, you just never know what's going to happen, right? It's how the Miami Dolphins plagued the New England Patriots for years. They never did anything like special. They never held the Patriots back really from any of their goals, but they always gave them good games, and they normally pull off like one win a year.
Daily, we're brought to you by Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Shout out to the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Good to see Kenny Jr. and Nick Frederick yesterday over at the Grapevine. Great establishment in Donaldsonville, Louisiana, right across the street from 415 Division Street out there in Donaldsonville, Louisiana, where the Frederick boys have been running Donaldsonville Glass and Body for over 40 years. If you've been in an accident, if you are in an accident, remember, it is up to you where your vehicle goes for getting repair, and it goes to the best. Go to Donaldsonville Glass and Body. It's also up to you who moves your vehicle from the accident site, from the office, from the shop, to Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Remember, they offer 24-hour towing. If you're in Ascension Parish, if you're around Donaldsonville and you are in an accident, get in touch with Donaldsonville Glass and Body to move the vehicle back to the shop at 415 Division Street to make the repair.
Yeah, the tow from the accident site is free. Then they fix the car, then they drop it back off to your home for free. Shout out Nick Frederick. Also, shout out happy 6th birthday to Colin Frederick, Kenny Jr.'s son, so almost Kenny. But shout out, Colin. Hope you have a great birthday, man. 6th birthday. Do good in school. Listen to OTB, and you will have a very fulfilled life.
Take Mintz's bets coming up here at 8 a.m.
Yes, and get into sports gambling as well, Colin. You're never too young. 6 years old is a great time to start. I wish I had started back then.
Happy birthday, Colin. Ben Mintz going to be here at 8 a.m. this morning. T-Bob, we talked a little bit about it in headlines, and we talked about the story earlier this week. More bad headlines for LSU. If you were reading the story that was published yesterday in The Advocate, the headlines read, and the headline's pretty damning. In the Drake Davis abuse case, The SEC and LSU president were warned 2 years ago about schools' inaction. This goes in detail of David Lewis, who is the father of Jade Lewis, who we told you was the student athlete, the tennis player at the times of David Lewis in October of 2018, telling the governing bodies of LSU and the SEC about repeated failure to take appropriate action as they were confronted earlier with allegations of Drake Davis abusing Jade Lewis, the student athlete that has brought forth these allegations.
And so I've been trying to figure out exactly what the impact of this headline will be, and I can't pretend to know. This case is definitely out of my pay grade in terms of how this is all going to play out. It's definitely a bad headline, and it's definitely proof that they knew at the time, and they've reached out to Herb Vincent because Herb Vincent responded at the time with letters, sending letters back to David Lewis, Jade Lewis's father, saying that they had received, the NCAA had received it, said he forwarded the letters to LSU's general counsel, Tom Skinner at the time. And really, that's my big takeaway, why I'm not sure what this all means, what it eventually amounts to, is it's the exact same response from the parties involved that we're seeing in every other aspect of this case, which is the pass the buck, like, look, I did my job, I pushed it up the ladder, what happened there, I don't know. The NCAA saying, look, we pushed it over to LSU, if they didn't do it, that's on them. LSU saying, look, we pushed it to the authorities, or I pushed it to the president, if they didn't do it, that's on them. And so that's why you need what exactly they have going on right now, which whatever law firm it is that's doing the independent investigation, it's like Blackwell Hirsch, I don't know, whatever. But the point is, you need a third-party arbitrator to come in and figure out where it went wrong, what needs to be fixed, and who is responsible, because nobody is going to admit or take responsibility in any of this.
Well, one thing that is pretty evident, and the independent auditor is proof of that from LSU's standpoint, but they want to make sure that this thing is investigated. They don't want it publicly being talked about, but it's not going away. It's not going to go away from the public, because Andrea Gallo, who wrote this story yesterday at The Advocate, is teamed up with a herd of writers, whether it be at The Advocate or whether it be at USA Today, and they are going to continue to apply pressure on LSU and now maybe even to the SEC. And I can tell you who I think is probably sweating a little bit this morning is Oregon State and F. King Alexander.
Yeah, he's mentioned a couple times the story, and he says the same kind of pass the buck, like we did what we were supposed to do type of deal.
Well, I just know in today's world, when you had knowledge about that and you're now in a seat of that same power and running a university, that you have to answer those questions.
Yeah.
And I think this morning that people like F. King Alexander, all of these people in administration that knew about this, had knowledge about it, should be sweating. They should be fearful of this, because it's coming more. The more and more this story is talked about and developing, it's becoming a little bit more clear and evident that people had knowledge, real knowledge.
No, I mean,
that this was going on.
I think the knowledge part is clear. I think what you have to find out now is where was the breakdown that led to the delayed inaction, because it's clear that everybody had knowledge, and everybody's not even denying that. They're just saying we just bumped it up the ladder, essentially. So what is so broken in the process that it wasn't handled correctly at the time?
Time
will tell.
That is that's a little bit about the story yesterday that was in The Advocate, but the headline, damning for sure. In the Drake Davis abuse case, SEC and LSU president were warned 2 years ago about the schools in action. Your food questions next. If you have food questions, remember the hashtag is Munchies for Chef Michael Johnson. He will be here in a couple of minutes answering your food questions just like he is every Thursday. And stick around, Ben Mintz handing away some winners at the top of the 8 o'clock hour here on Off the Bench, that's driven and powered every day by All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Daily brought to you by All-Star Toyota. Remember, online at allstartoyota.com, where they've got a great selection of brand new cars. They got a selection of pre-owned and certified vehicles. Stop in and see Aaron Piku on the corner of Goodwood and Airline, where they can help you out today. Service department's fantastic too. You can pull in right there on Goodwood, whip into the service department. You don't need an appointment for the oil change today, and it doesn't even matter if you're not even a part of the All-Star family. Once you see how easy the service department is to deal with over at All-Star Toyota, you'll probably jump aboard and become an All-Star family member. Online, allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com.
Yeah, for me, it's the selection, dog. That's because I got the minivan for the fam, the 2020 Camry. Like the minivan, I knew what I needed. The Camry, I went in with more of a price, right? And they found me a car that way exceeded my expectations that I'm comfortable with. And if you want that sort of guidance to find the exact right vehicle for your needs, they give you that at All-Star. Go to allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com today.
Off the Bench, hanging with Esther and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Abear here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
It's a Thursday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time. Full show with no Thursday night football game as we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Tune in at 6 p.m. as we recap last night's games and look ahead to future action right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Abear. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Chef Michael Johnson is back on OTB. Brought to you by Barbecue Guys. Barbecue Guys is your one-stop shop for everything outdoor kitchens and living. Send your questions into the Bayou Ford YouTube chat using the hashtag Munchies.
All right, every Thursday here on Off the Bench, Barbecue Guys serves up our Chef Michael Johnson spot where we answer your food questions. Very popular segment that started during the pandemic and has lived on and will last. Hashtag Munchies. Jump inside of the huddle. Or excuse me. Jump inside of the Bayou Ford chat app with your hashtag Munchies and your questions, and we will get them to the chef who joins us now on OTB. Good morning, Chef. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Jumping right into it. This one comes from a good friend of the show, Jim Pergerson, over at Citizens Bank and Trust, and this is a good one for early risers. He asked, Chef, hashtag Munchies, what is a good breakfast for protein to fill in? He's not an egg fan. He's looking for some good breakfast to get up and get going for some protein, but he's not an egg fan.
Yeah, well, you can find proteins in fruits and vegetables as well. It's just not as heavily saturated. Starches as well. So potatoes have proteins in them. Obviously, a lot of starch, but if you're asking me what kind of protein I eat for breakfast, it's always going to be bacon.
the best breakfast. Hashtag Munchies, Chef. What is the deal with airline food? How do they preserve it?
Wow.
It's kind of freeze dried. It's akin to what they're doing with these ready to eat meals that you source from what they call it, meal prep. So it's kind of like that. It's been pre-cooked and flash frozen, and then they thaw it out, and then they microwave it very quickly.
Keep it up with the quality questions here. Patrick Henry asks, hashtag Munchies, best dressing for a tossed salad.
I'm a big fan of the Caesar salad with anchovies in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Full commitment. Hashtag Munchies. William Ivy wants to know, how would you handle a player who is still overweight this late in the season?
We don't have any players overweight this late in the season, but
so more general question. I'll make it easier. If you have a player who's overweight, how do y'all use kind of the weight room and the nutrition room to get it right?
Yeah, well, strength and training has a lot to do with it, and pushing in there, which they do every day. But it's conversations about what looks right on the plate. It's educative. We don't force anybody's hand. We just, we'll make plates there, or when they come through, we'll make plates with them and show them what a healthy plate looks like for somebody who's looking to weight loss. And there's weight gain as well. If guys are looking to still gain weight, we help them make plates that are proper for a weight gain as well.
Chef, Ogeron was here on Tuesday, and he remarked about the backup offensive line that was playing against Missouri because T-Bob had brought it up. And in T-Bob's question, he mentioned that they looked a little soft, like they didn't look like they were in the best of shape, and Ogeron acknowledged that. Do those conversations, are you brought in on those conversations? I'd imagine that's a lot with Tommy Moffitt, but are you in on those chats as well?
I think only when it's under extreme circumstances, when they're very concerned about it. And it is a soft conversation. It's, hey, what does it look like? Are they eating right? If they're not eating right, why isn't it? And then I'm brought into the conversation to see, what we can offer them to tempt them to eat this or that. Sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's being away from home, sometimes it's just not being as educated about what foods offer what. So it's part of it, yeah.
Scott Dice writes inside of the Bayou Ford chat app, hashtag Munchies. Chef, how long do you soak your red beans before cooking them for red beans and rice?
Overnight, at least 12 hours, if not 24, yeah.
Fonzarelli, hashtag Munchies, crawfish boils or crab boils?
Crawfish boils. Crab boils that's a backup when you can't have crawfish, right?
Yeah. Okay. Smart answer. There you go. Chef gets it.
Sparky the Hound says, hashtag Munchies. Chef, what was your spread for Thanksgiving?
You guys would be disappointed. My family was out of town, and I was traveling to Texas A&M. I didn't really do much for Thanksgiving. So.
Wow. Damn. Chef, I made a turkey stock. I think he came out pretty good with the turkey carcass. But
okay.
just because I may have another one coming up around Christmas, what is the best way to make a turkey stock out of your leftover bird?
Well, one thing I like to do is rub a little tomato paste on the bones when you're done with it. Obviously you've cooked the bird. I like to roast them again and put a little color on them because I like my stocks a little bit darker, and not for too long, because if you continue cooking them, you're too much, you're going to lose what you're looking for. And then finish it in the pot, and adding lots of vegetables or vegetables that smell good, leeks, carrots, onions, stuff like that. And I put a sachet in my stock. It's got bay leaves and black peppercorns and stuff that are going to spice it well, and cook it slow and low. Don't rush a stock. If it needs to simmer, not boil, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes just steaming is enough. You're just looking to pull the flavor out, and 8 to 10 hours is usually pretty good if you've already cooked the bones. If the turkey's already been cooked and the bones have already been cooked, 8 to 10 hours is probably good enough.
How long does gumbo stay good for? I made that turkey and sausage last Friday night. I've got a couple bowls left. Am I going to hurt myself by eating them today?
1 week is kind of the limit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm under it then. I'm at 6 days. We're good.
Yeah.
He's got a Kevlar stomach.
Maybe not the most confident I've ever heard there at the end.
Well, there's a lot of ifs and ands in there. Food the turkey up properly, and how long it's been on the table
but
before,
right. All right, sometimes I see questions here that I'm a little nervous to ask because I don't know if they're for real, if they're not. So I'm going to ask this one. Daniel Glenn says, #Munchies. Chef, do you keep, Chef keeps his...
Oh, you're going to read this one. Yeah, I don't know.
Bechamel sauce?
Bechamel sauce clean?
Bechamel sauce clean and add enhancers. I like to dissolve cheeses and herbs to mine for a lasagna.
Okay, so a bechamel sauce is one of the mother sauces. It's basically milk thickened with a roux.
Okay.
So this is a legit question.
Okay.
And a traditional bechamel is basically like shallots sweat down, and you put a little bit of nutmeg in there. And I think what he's saying by clean is no other like a pure bechamel. And I do, when I make bechamels, I definitely do. And I'm sorry, what was the second half of the question about lasagna?
It was like, do you use additives? And then he says that he likes to dissolve cheeses and herbs into his for a lasagna.
Yeah, so what he's describing there, like if you take a bechamel and put cheese in it, that's what you call a Mornay sauce. And that's how a mother sauce becomes something else. You add additives to it. So I definitely love a Mornay sauce. I use it in lasagna, and I like soft cheeses if I'm making a Mornay sauce, like soft meltable cheeses that go into it well. I don't hard cheeses. They tend to get greasy, and they'll grease your sauce up, and then ultimately your lasagna or whatever your final dish is going to be is going to have that much more grease in it as well.
Rory Loop inside of the Bayou Ford chat app. Chef, #Munchies. Please explain the difference between prime, choice, and select cuts of beef.
Yeah, it's really about the fat and the marbling in it. And, there's a lot of places that are getting away from it. It's a USDA deal that, has to do with the marbling and how much marbling per square inch. And that's just about it. They look at the color. They look at whether it's stressed. You can tell if a cow has been stressed when it was slaughtered, and it's in the tone of the color of the meat. And you're really looking for a cow or beef that has a bright red color versus a purplish color. It means that there's less hormone in it. If the cow was stressed when it was slaughtered, it'll produce hormone in the meat, and it'll taste bitter. So that goes a little bit into it, but it's also in the marbling. And if you've ever seen a piece of Kobe beef, the marbling is throughout and it's spread evenly, and it doesn't have big chunks of fat in it. It has smaller, even pieces of fat in it. So all that goes into play.
Are all cuts of Kobe beef like great, or is there certain cuts that are not that? Okay.
No, and that's where the grading comes in. Is like a grade 7. That's like 1 in every 600 cows that are raised. So that's why it's so pricey. It's a rarity. So enjoy it while you have it. Yeah.
Just the word marbling makes my mouth water. Scott Dice, #Munchies. How long do you soak your red beans?
We already asked it.
Oh, you already asked it.
Yep.
Okay, #Munchies. Tips for cooking brown rice.
Brown rice tends to cook a little bit longer, and you want to rinse it really well. Like I rinse my brown rice 2 or 3 times to get all the starchy stuff off the outside of it, and take your time with it. Also, if you're cooking it in a pot, and a lot of this goes with just standard rice procedures. Like don't open the lid too often. Keep your lid closed and be patient with it. Once the water comes to a boil, you put your rice in and bring it down to a simmer and put the lid on and let it do its thing. A lot of people stir their rice, and a lot of people mess with the rice too often, and most of the time that's where rice cooking goes wrong, is opening the lid.
Caitlin Sims asks, #Munchies, what are the top 3 food countries in the world and why?
Oof.
I think like I don't know if it is a country, but like China, like Southeast Asia, that just the influence over there, just because its food has been around for so long there, that they have techniques that are extraordinary, and the flavor profiles are just incredible. I think France/Italy. If I could name both of them together.
Yep, they'll allow it.
Yeah, probably there. That's where traditional or food became refined.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. It's a toss up between the U.S. and Spain, to be honest with you. I love Spanish food. I like the culture that they bring. I like the way that they do food. But the United States has become a melting pot of all that stuff, right? So you can go to any different city in the United States and pick up a piece of culture from around the world. And Seattle is a perfectly good example of that. New Orleans obviously is a perfectly good example of that. New York and Chicago.
I've even heard a lot about Houston in that regard, in terms of blending a lot of different cultures.
Absolutely. They've taken the Cajun culture in Houston and twisted, Vietnamese into it, and getting some kind of nouveau cooking over there that's exciting. If you like food and you're not stuck in traditional manners, it's really something very interesting. So I don't know. I get Nashville. There's great food coming up in Nashville. If you're looking for it and you're open to it, it's there to find.
Chef, 7 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. What's the food schedule like for the team?
So the food, the team starts on Thursday evening. They will eat at the nutrition center, and then Friday everything moves over to Lod Cook, and we continue feeding all the other athletes. But the team goes into a sequence of events on Friday that's been there for a very long time. It's going to remain that way for a very long time, I imagine. And it's the same meal. They eat the same meal on Friday night. They eat the same meal that they do Saturday morning for early breakfast. And then there's an early breakfast for early risers. There's a breakfast for people who are not as early as risers. And then there's a lunch, and then there's a pregame meal. So, depending on the time of day that the game plays, it depends on how many meals they have. But it's a tradition of what they've been eating, and there's very little change to it, to be honest with you. Just it's built around comfort of the stomach and not putting too much in the stomach that's going to cause sour stomach, lots of carbs and stuff, and it's meant just to target what the body needs. Yeah.
No worse feeling than having to go to the bathroom middle of the game.
It's pregame.
Yeah,
it's horrible. Yeah.
You see, every once in a while you'll see one of them running for the locker.
And there's also nothing more annoying, and teams love to do this when the visitors' locker room has no doors on the stalls. I mean, what are we doing? Nobody wants to do that.
Chef, have a good weekend.
Time.
Pull them through.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, pull them through. You got it, Chef. Thank you, man.
It's all on you, Chef. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Close out hour 1 next.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by AccuTemp. Remember, online at AccuTempBR.com. With the Tigers kicking off at 7 o'clock on Saturday night, that means you have an opportunity for the Tiger tune-up at halftime. 31996 is the number that you need to store inside your phone for half off of your AccuTemp service call. That's the Tiger tune-up that you can get only during LSU games when the LSU Tigers are playing at halftime. You text halftime to 31996, and you receive half off of your service call from AccuTemp BR. Online, AccuTempBR.com.
AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. Yes, like Jordy said, if there can be a redeeming quality in this weekend's game, it's that you can still get a great deal, even if LSU's down 30 at half. It does not matter. At halftime, you text the word halftime to 31996. Get that Tiger tune-up for your home for just $49. $50, y'all. Half off to make sure that your home is ready to handle the winter into spring. Make sure everything's good. Avoid major repairs down the road. Go to AccuTempBR.com today.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One thing you can always count on this time of year is Happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. With year-end clearance prices on every vehicle in stock. Save thousands on some of the best, most awarded vehicles on the road. And shop the way you feel comfortable. At the dealership or online with home delivery. So everyone can take advantage of Happy Honda Days. No wonder people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up. Roof's up.
Roof's up.
Roof's up?
Roof's up.
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
Yo, join us for a Thursday edition of Hanging with Hester and Haney presented by Richards Honda from noon to 3. We welcome on Peter Burns of the SEC Network. Hunt Palmer sits in with us for an hour, and we do a deep dive into Saints Falcons on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Always appreciate the interaction during the Munchies segment with Chef Michael Johnson. If you want to get involved, if you have food questions for Off the Bench and for Chef Johnson, remember hashtag Munchies inside of the Bayou Ford chat app every week here on Thursday on OTB, and we'll get the food questions answered by the chef as that segment has grown in popularity. We'll be out in the streets and be out talking to clients, or be out just talking to people out in the streets, and people will walk up and say that they love the chef segment. So we always appreciate the interaction.
Legend.
Ben Mintz coming up here in a couple of minutes. Mintz, will have his 6-pack of winners for us.
Also, we can talk to Mincy about what it felt like to get to throw eggs at Brandon Walker, as he had a bet with the other Barstool Mississippi guy, who is a Mississippi State man, where the loser had to get pegged with the amount of eggs equal to the difference in the score of the game, right? So it ended with 6 points, which that could have been very bad.
Yes.
For Walker. Like, that's actually, I think that's actually huge win
Lucky.
that you end up with just 6 eggs there. But
So Mintz threw them?
They threw them yesterday.
Did Mintz throw?
Yes.
Okay.
They filmed it for the Saturday show, though.
So you have not seen his form
We have
yet?
not seen it yet. We saw a teaser video with him and Playboy Marty where he was throwing some eggs at a picture of Walker on the wall, and he started by missing one wide just to get in the euchre, just a bit outside. And then, hey, the next throw was spot on. Smashed Walker in the face. It was Walker looking at the eggs walking onto the set. This Saturday, I think that video is going to come out. But we'll kind of get a little preview with Mincy about. I mean, it had to be pretty gratifying because in what other professional workspace or workplace do you get to, and really anything in life, do you get to throw eggs at your arch rival after your team just beat their team? Like, that's awesome. If I could have tarred and feathered an Alabama fan after last year's game, I would have been all about that.
I got 1 minute left in the hour. If I give you a 6-pack of eggs right now and you got your choice to egg anybody in this building, who you going after?
Oh, man. Okay. I mean, Moscona's the chalk pick just because watching him handle
Dick Condon
eggs.
for you.
Yeah, eggs would be great. Dick Condon is certainly up there in terms of someone I would like to see to have to react to that.
So you got a bid?
Let me think about this.
Not really. I mean,
you're still too young.
Paul O'Neill.
Scared to put it out on the microphone.
No, I get along with everybody
Danny?
here.
You're still part-time, Danny. Take a shot.
I'll throw my T-Bob.
There we go. Okay.
All right.
Actually, Danny really would like to do that, though, and he'd put it on his Instagram story, me getting angry like he does
I'd tell
all the time.
Blaine Besh's old ass, start running down the hall and just start picking him off.
Office mates.
Yeah.
You can do it right there.
Absolutely. Hour 2, OTB. Your 6-pack of winners with Ben Mintz coming at you, driven and powered by All-Star.
I mean, it's just got to be Moscona.
A lot of Gordy.
It's got to be. It's got to be Moscona.
A lot of
to me.
Gordys inside of the Bayou Ford chat app.
Off the bench with Colada and T-Bob.
Daily Hero brought to you by Secure Shredding and Recycling. Remember, online, secureshreddingandrecycling.com. Get in touch with Gaines Garrett, Mr. J. Babb, and the crew, one of the fastest rising LSU businesses out there. Well respected, your document destruction specialist. If you need mobile shredding, they've got 10 trucks on the road today. If you're a little concerned about shredding some of the files in the office because of the timeline on it, they can help you out with that over at Secure Shredding and Recycling. They understand how to help you out with files that need to be shredded, that don't need to be shredded. Online, secureshreddingandrecycling.com.
Secureshreddingandrecycling.com, secureshreddingandrecycling.com. Go there for all your document destruction needs. Something your business has to do, right? And they understand that at Secure Shredding, they are a services business. And so everything that they do is to best serve your business and your needs. That includes giving you the best rate as well as the best customer service, the best relationship. Go to secureshreddingandrecycling.com today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. on Thursday, December the 3rd. Today in Baton Rouge, you can expect to see thunderstorms with a high of 62. In case you missed hour one of the show, catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com, brought to you by Carriages. Still to come on Off the Bench, Barstool Sports' Ben Mintz gives us a six-pack of picks next. Follow today's show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. You can watch live at 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, interact inside the Bayou 4 chat, and make sure you get subscribed to the Off the Bench and the Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channels. Set your notifications. New content is posted there daily. Hour number 2 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Off and at it, Off the Bench, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio in New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria, online, 1045ESPN.com. Good Thursday morning to you. Hour 1 in the books. Jordy Collada, T-Bob Hebert, Danny Cardenas, Matthew Musso. We're here for another hour. Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports is here with us, giving us our six-pack of winners. Mintz riding high up in New York City after the Egg Bowl win last week. He's got bragging rights over Brandon Walker. He's also going to be able to unload a six-pack of eggs at Walker.
I think Tony Rodriguez in the chat gives us the most random who would you egg a guarantee answer. I'm not sure how to word this, but the delicate sounding man that does the live Masters updates for y'all needs to be egged. The audio of him being egged.
Jason
McKenzie. Who would actually be fantastic to egg. He would not handle it at all. Great insight there. Great instincts.
Who'd that come from?
Tony Rodriguez in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Shout out, Tony. Good job, dude.
I'm not sure how to word this. That's great.
A delicate sounding man.
All right, so hour 1 in the books. We always appreciate the interaction in the Chef Michael Johnson segment. Food questions for the chef. I had a question come in from Andy McGinnity, who runs Embassy Suites here in Baton Rouge. Asked if that was the same Michael Johnson that used to run the old LSU golf course. I can't see it.
I thought you were going to say that used to run track, and I was like, no
chance.
I don't think so.
I can't see Chef Johnson. I mean, but that that's a
Where
a
are the
college
gold
gig.
cleats, Chef?
Ben Mintz, six-pack of winners. Mincy, how did we do last week?
35 on the season, so we're slightly over mediocre, but we're chugging along.
Repeat one more time. Where are we?
I said 2 and 3 last week, 39 and 35 on the season.
All right, we're still winning.
Yeah, we're having entertainment. We're above 500. We're entertaining. We'll keep it rolling.
Speaking of entertainment,
a couple of wins last night for you though, Mincy. Pulled a couple out, huh?
Yeah, I've been. Honestly, I've been hot up at Barstool the last 2.5 weeks gambling.
Wow.
Well, no. Well, I had a real bad first week.
Okay.
So,
right.
I hit it last night. But we already taped that college football show. that's going to air Saturday morning. And I'm just going to tell y'all the egg segment is even more epic than I thought it would be. It's unbelievable.
So we did. We were just kind of teasing it, Mintzy, at the end of last hour, and I mean, I know the video's not out yet, but just how did it feel? I mean, it's something that as an adult you never get to do. You got to sit there and throw eggs at a representative of your hated arch rival and a man that you're kind of in like direct competition with in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, and everybody knows like I'm trying to show a little more edge to my personality too. I mean, people know I'm pretty nice guy usually, and I'm really turning up the heat with this egg bowl thing. I held nothing back. I hummed the hell out of these eggs. Also,
what's the distance? How far away from are you?
Oh, it was very close range. I got respect for Brandon Walker.
Dude, that hurts.
It does hurt. Like 10 yards?
Close about that. Yeah, maybe even closer. Wow. I mean, and I threw them. And then I did on After Dinner Mints, which I post every night. I did a warm-up bullpen session on Tuesday night. They got like 54,000 views. Where my bullpen session practice, and man, this whole thing, I just can't wait for this to air Saturday morning. I know y'all are going to be more than entertained.
So wait, Musso brought up there's a caveat to it as well that you're able to you can carry an egg with you for a calendar year and bust it over Brandon Walker at any time you want until the next Egg Bowl. Is that true?
That is totally true. I'm gonna do some funny stuff with it, like carry ping pong balls around with me to like make me think I'm about to crack it. But I'm gonna hang on to it till the right spot. We do pick Central from.
Oh, so you only have one?
Yeah. Well, no, I threw 6 at him already, and I get to carry one to crack anytime.
You should just start bringing in like one day you bring in a boiled egg. He doesn't know it's boiled. Just kind of casually put it on the table, kind of spin it around a little bit in front of him, and then you can crack it open and eat it. Just psychological warfare. Build it up through the year.
I like it, man. We'll keep coming with the fun ideas. I'm going to mess with him, and he's certainly a fun target because he's not a fan of the University of Mississippi. That's putting it mildly.
All right, Mintzy. I see the target practice on. Danny's got the video pulled up of your bullpen session last night.
If we play, unfortunately, if we play the audio from Brandon Walker's appearance here before Mississippi State week, he kind of called everything that was going to happen to LSU. He said Orgeron was going to turn back into a pumpkin, that the entire program was going to just completely crash and burn under 500. He said all these things that sounded insane at the time, to the point where we were kind of sarcastically laughing, and now, lo and behold, look what's come to pass.
It's just keep on coming.
Yeah, man.
Mintzy, who we like this weekend?
All right, we'll start in college football. We got 3 each, college and pro. First game is an SEC game, kind of. Arkansas heads to Missouri. Barry Odom, Arkansas defensive coordinator, very familiar with Missouri Tigers, being their former head coach, certainly knows a lot about their scheme and their talent and personnel. Arkansas has been an under team all year long. I don't think Missouri has much firepower, so the long and short of it, under 51.5 in an ugly, crappy game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I kind of like this game, man. We've been previewing this game randomly for a few weeks now. This is...
For a few weeks?
Yes, because we've been trying to parse through who is the best of the bad teams. Now Ole Miss is probably moving up in those rankings from where they were a little while ago. But Arkansas-Mizzou, the winner of this, could make that case to be the best of the under 500 teams.
What's the spread on the game, Mintz?
It's Missouri by 3 at home, just home team by 3. But I think this one means a lot to Arkansas with Barry Odom getting let go by Missouri last year and being their defensive coordinator. I think that's worth noting.
Yeah. So the 51.5 is what Mintz is giving out for the 6-pack of winners. I like Arkansas plus the 3 in the game if we're betting that as well. Where to next?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
All right, next up, Texas heads to the Manhattan I don't live in, the Little Apple of Manhattan, Kansas. They're basically Texas, man. Boy, this Tom Herman era has kind of flown off the rails a little bit, huh? And the thing that's crazy to me is I thought they may not be, I thought they'd be better this year, but why are they struggling so bad on offense? I mean, they can't score. And Sam Ehlinger started he's been there as long as it feels like he's been in Texas as long as I was at Ole Miss. and they're still scoring in the low 20s and high teens. I don't know. And the Kansas State has no offensive firepower since they lost their Skylar Thompson, their quarterback, in early October. So guess what? Another underpick, 51.
Plenty of people go to college for 8 years, Richard. All doctors.
Under 51. All right, where are we going next?
Next pick is, man, I know y'all know I don't take the big road favorites blowouts much, but I think Ohio State's going to beat Michigan State to within an inch of their life on Saturday. It's 24 in East Lansing. Michigan State just had their big win against Northwestern last week. They are garbage still. Northwestern's just always struggled when they're supposed to win games on the road. Like, they're more of an underdog program. They're not comfortable in that favorite role, I don't think. And Ohio State, because all the stuff going on right now, the Big Ten not getting all these games in with COVID, they're worried about them not playing enough games to make the Big Ten title game, to make the playoffs. They need to win this game by 60. So I'm taking Ohio State by 24. I think they murder them.
All right.
All right, so 3 college picks in the book. Moving on to Sunday, Mintzy. Who you got?
All right, first one on Sunday. We got one more total play. Boy, by the way, I want to make sure I mention on the air. Anybody, T-Bob, you see that 35 spot the Tennessee Titans dropped on Indy in the first half last week?
So yeah, the Titans emerging at just the right time for the number 1 Tennessee Titan fan, Ben Mintz.
Yeah, well, AJ, I love AJ Brown, but so that kind of sets up this week, though. They're playing Cleveland at home. Cleveland played a higher scoring game against Jacksonville last week. The weather's freezing in Nashville all week. This over-under is insanely high. 54 for Titans in Cleveland?
Wow.
I mean, that's a big. I know a lot of it has to do with how high scoring that Tennessee game was last week. But, man, with this being colder weather, both these teams with Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb prefer to run the ball and have longer possessions. I mean, even if they play higher scoring games, it's not, they don't go at a fast tempos. So I'm taking under 54 here.
Okay. Browns at Titans under 54. Pick number 5.
Pick number 5, just sticking to the well. It worked last week. I always do it. Teams that lose as a road favorite, catch points at home, I just take them. This week it's Arizona, lost at New England. Last week, a close one when they missed that field goal, and New England got a field goal late. Arizona's a 3-point home underdog to the Rams this week. They're on Arizona.
Well, yeah, and Minty, you might have just said this, but that 1.5, you took, this guideline that you use every week, that won you that Patriots pick last week, right?
Yep, they did.
Okay.
A winning week at the agenda. That's about first. And then finally the last one. This goes against all the stuff I preach in gambling because the dang line on Saints Falcons is so sketchy. It's that road favorite -2.5 that I hate. And then you look at the Saints Falcons series. Usually upsets happen. I don't care about all that. I'm riding the black and gold. I'm taking T-Bob's thoughts too. Until they lose, I'm not getting off the train. I'm taking Saints by 2.5. Even though it looks suckery and fishy as hell, I'm still taking it.
What was the Cardinals' number one more time?
+3.
Okay, there you go.
Mintzy, LSU is they are 29.5 point underdogs, which is when you look at that's the biggest underdog for a defending national champion in the past 40 college football seasons.
Huh?
I don't think the 29.5 is enough. I would lay the points if I was playing the game. How do you feel about this one on Saturday night?
Man, I feel the same way you do. I'd say the gambling thing I'd be looking at is you can bet these team total points now, and I went under in the LSU-Arkansas game and hit it. I don't see how LSU scores more than 17 or 18 points in this game with the freshman quarterback. Yeah, with the freshman quarterbacks against the Saban. Like, I know Bama's defense isn't what it used to be, but, man, it's just the true freshman thing.
Mintz, the funny part about that is Bama isn't what it used to be, but they're still first in the SEC, giving up 18 points a game.
Yeah, and it's a shame last week that Miles Brennan wasn't out there because Miles Brennan was healthy. I think LSU wins that game last week. I agree. I really do, but it's just this season has turned into 2008 Part 2 when Jarrett Lee had to play as a true freshman, and it just feels like it's kind of coming off LSU's 07 title. It just feels incredibly similar to that to me.
Ole Miss, no football activities today, right? But they're back at it tomorrow?
Yeah, and 2 games left at A&M the 12th. Hopefully at LSU will still happen because I'm planning on coming down there December 7th. I'm going to be in Baton Rouge December 17th. We're going to have T-Bob and Megan and me and the Otter. We're going to have a little fun over at Jolie Pearl on the Thursday night, the 17th. And then I want to go to Ole Miss LSU the 19th and trying to get the Superdome if Latoya will still let me for that Saints Chiefs on Sunday the 20th.
Okay, so I found some random Elijah Moore stuff that I have nowhere else to put in the show, so I'm just going to read it here. I didn't realize. Jordan, did you realize the season Elijah Moore's having right now? In 8 games, Elijah Moore has 86 catches for almost 1,200 yards, 1,193, and 8 touchdowns. But think about that. This man is on pace right now to well exceed 100 catches in just 10 games in an all-SEC schedule.
And they run him too, don't they?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I also got to mention with Elijah Moore, I mean, I call him the prophet. He's the one who did the dog pee in the end zone in Starkville that got Matt Luke out of there.
Yep.
And he caught the touchdown in overtime against Kentucky that led to that video that got that job.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, he's like top 5, top 3, may end up as my favorite Rebel of all time.
He's working it out. I mean, absolutely.
Who is the favorite?
Man, the guy, it's an Eli Manning, Patrick Willis, Deuce McAllister, Chad Kelly, A.J. Brown, and Elijah Moore.
Sure.
Swag Kelly.
Absolutely.
Where's Swag Kelly on? Is he still in the NFL?
Dude, him and Marshall Henderson were raging in a dag bowl last week. And then the word I heard was he got a call for a tryout for the Houston Texans Sunday morning, and he might have been really hungover. So that was the last time. That was the last time.
Swag Kelly going to do as Swag Kelly does. That's it.
I wish he would have been playing for Denver on Sunday.
Yeah.
Mintz, have a great
I
weekend.
do too. I tweeted that.
All right, Mincy, take it easy,
Have a
bro.
great weekend, bro.
Yeah, thank y'all.
right,
Look forward to seeing y'all in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ben
And
Mintz from
watch
Barstool
him
Sports.
Saturday on their college football show that I'm blanking on the name of right now. Watch him peg eggs at Brandon Walker. It's going to be great.
OTB rolling on All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culinary and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All-Star Toyota brings you OTB daily here. Remember, online at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. Vast selection of brand new cars over there with the year turning over. Get into a 2021 model today over at All-Star Toyota. If you're looking for that Toyota Camry, T-Bob tells you about it. He's just picked up one through lease. If you're looking for a minivan, he's got one of those as well. He bought a couple of months ago. I've got the Toyota the Tacoma that I love. All from All-Star Toyota. Great service, great sales. Online, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
All-Star Toyota BatonRouge.com, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Go there for any new car needs that you have. Maybe you want a Toyota certified used vehicle where it's going to be more affordable because it's used, but you still get things like a warranty to give you the peace of mind after the purchase, right? Maybe you just want to rent for the weekend. You don't want to go full commitment to the minivan like I did. You just need it for the weekend, for a Disney trip, something like that. They got you. Just ask. All-Star Toyota at BatonRouge.com. Go there today.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you
It's round 2 of high school football playoffs, and we have you covered Friday night starting at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, Catholic High and Rummel at 7, and we wrap things up with a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show at 10 on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, stick around. We are going to talk recruiting in 10 minutes as we will catch up with Julie Boudouin, who is a friend of the show, as she will come in and talk about Mason Smith as she covers recruiting and reporting for Tiger Details. And she's on Twitter at Julie_Boudouin. But the big news earlier this week was that Mason Smith, the 5-star defensive tackle out of Terrebonne High School, was listed as the nation's top overall player according to Rivals.com. That was announced on Monday. Smith, who is a huge defensive line target, 5-star athlete out of the Bayou Parishes, has 26 offers from major colleges, including LSU, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. Smith is undecided on where he will play and is going to make his pick during an upcoming National Signing Day special. We'll talk to Julie about Mason coming up here in a couple of minutes. Julie has been following Mason Smith throughout his entire senior season as the 6'5", 300-pound prospect is set to make his college choice in just a couple of days.
How old is this cat?
Smith?
Yeah. Look at him.
30.
He looks like he's 30. That's what I'm saying. He looks like he's my age. Oh, my God, dude. So what do we think, boys? You think he's coming to LSU?
I've said all along about Mason Smith. Mason Smith is in Terrebonne, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Plays defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And LSU's head coach is Ed Ogeron.
Yeah.
This is the absolute perfect storm, the perfect recruit for Ogeron. He's been on the top of the board for the last 3 years. This is a guy that not only do I believe that they ultimately do get, they have to get him, T. They have to get him because of just area of concern, who he is, where he's from, and the state of LSU football. He's a must get.
Yeah, I think if you look at things in stock market terms, and with recruiting, I tend to do that a lot because you're talking about putting a lot of emotion into decisions that will only affect you well into the future, right? Like a couple of years away. It's not an immediate return, right? So it's kind of the future confidence of the investors in your program. How do they feel about the direction of it? The Sage Ryan get earlier this fall was a huge deal, especially because prices were dropping. People were selling off stock. He's going to Alabama. Okay, you solidified, you managed to stabilize the investor confidence, you get Sage Ryan, bam, that's a great get. But this Mason Smith thing, I mean, this has like make or break potential in terms of the very brittle, maybe tenuous current state of the LSU fans' mindset, where they're kind of on the edge of losing it all. But the bright spot they continue to fall back on is this class and the next year's class and the young talent that you have returning next year. So you can still make the argument that the future is fine, but Mason Smith goes a long way towards deciding how people continue to feel about that argument. And like you said, Jordy, because of the fact that Edo is known as a great recruiter, He is obviously Louisiana born and bred. He's a defensive line coach by trade. He's put a ton of first-round defensive linemen into the NFL. Yes, for those reasons, this is a must-get. And if you get him, it is the perfect, especially if it comes sometime around this Alabama game, it is the perfect kind of way to make people feel a bit better that this year, and it's an article, it's a question that Rabley actually asked in The Advocate today, which is like, is this year an aberration? Or is it a sign of kind of the beginning of the end and maybe you've just lost too much? I still fall in the aberration camp. But somebody like Mason Smith, the decision that he will make will go a long way towards determining if I stay in that camp. So, yeah, there is a lot of times people get hyperbolic about recruiting. They exaggerate recruiting or the importance of individual commits, right? I'm always of the belief that recruiting matters on a volume scale. You have to be ranked in that top 5 in the team rankings if you want to be a consistent championship contender. I don't get married to individual recruits too much. This is a time where I think you're okay with getting married and putting a lot of emotion into this decision because his impact could be pretty seismic, either good or bad.
927-8300 is the phone number to get in touch with Go Roof. They're online at geauxroof.com. Residential and commercial roofing and repair. They can help you today with a free professional estimate. 927-8300. Call today and get a free quote. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Hammond, Lafayette, all the surrounding areas online, geauxroof.com, or call them today at 927-8300. We mentioned with Ben Mintz.
Oh, that's cool. So there have been rumors about this. Just got made official, a little college football news. So Liberty cannot play Coastal Carolina this weekend, which is actually going to be, that's where game day was supposed to be, so that's out now. But it looks like BYU going to step up and play Coastal, which is interesting for a couple of reasons. BYU got a lot of crap for not wanting to play Washington. They say they couldn't. Other people say they bailed. But here they are. This is the 9-0 Coastal team ranked 18th versus a 9-0 BYU team ranked 13th. Both teams willing to put that 9-0 record on the line. I love that.
I love that.
Let's go, boys. Zach Wilson gets a Chanticleers. I'm in.
We mentioned during the Mintz segment that in the past 40 years, no defending college football national champ has been a bigger underdog than LSU will be this weekend versus Alabama. The Tigers right now are consensus 29.5-point underdogs to the Crimson Tide. The line has bubbled up to 30 at some sports books, including the William Hill Sportsbook over in Mississippi. But T-Bob, the last time this happened, you were a part of it. Auburn and LSU met in 2011. Auburn was the defending national champ. You guys were favored by 21 that day, and that was the up until right now, what was the only 20-point-plus underdog in a game after winning the national championship the previous season.
Well, and again, to show how bad this season has been, we whooped Auburn's ass that day and gave them the biggest loss in series history, the biggest margin of victory the two teams had ever seen, and then that record got broken this year by Auburn beating this LSU team 48-11. So I imagine that's going to be similar to how it happened with Auburn 11 years ago or 10 years ago, whatever it was. I think Alabama's going to do similar things, but probably even worse. So there's some good discussion going on in the YouTube chat kind of about the rhythm that they expect this game to play, right? Do you have an LSU defense that comes out and plays inspired, but then kind of tires out as the offense remains ineffectual? Does Alabama's defense have success off the jump? Do you have any great kind of feelings on the kind of rhythm or tempo that this game will take, how it will play out?
They need a super spike today.
I was like, what? Like a fast start? No.
The Rona.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here, man.
Okay, so I guess in either situation, I think we're saying that they're going to lose. I just wonder what the path to the loss looks like. Ironically, the path to the loss against A&M was not terrible. I mean, it was still very frustrating. You lose the game. But you actually get like a dominant defensive performance. You cover the spread. You looked way better defensively than I thought you would. Offensively, you looked exactly how I thought you would. I wonder if they can have some of that same defensive success that they flashed over the last couple of weeks. Or does like the ultimate move from Alabama to cut your knees out from under you would be Devontae Smith comes out and burns Derek Stingley Jr. for like an 80-yard touchdown off the bat, and then the tone's just set.
Or Najee Harris straight up the middle right over Micah Baskerville, who everybody's been hanging their hats on for the last 2 weeks, is some sign of light, some sign of positive energy that the LSU defense has. My biggest concern and what my gut tells me going in and what I've felt all week is that LSU is going to get punched in the mouth early on and they're not going to have a response. Is that they're going to get backed up into a corner, they're going to get beat up real quick early on, and they may bail. They may tap out. And I fear that. I feared that last weekend too, and they didn't do it. They did not do that.
And so that's what I want to give them credit for, because they definitely did that against Auburn. Against Arkansas, there were multiple opportunities to mentally break. They did not do that. Now, obviously, Arkansas is not going to apply as much pressure, not being as good of a team, but A&M's a pretty damn good team. And when it's 20-0 and A&M gets the ball back, like, that would have been very understandable for the defense to completely fold at that time. And they did not. They showed some pride. You're always looking, in a season like this, you're looking for points of growth, okay? And so the mental instability displayed at Auburn, there is direct growth in both the following games, in Arkansas and then in A&M, that this team is maybe a bit more mentally tough than they were then. Unfortunately, no matter how mentally tough they is, I don't think that it ends up translating to a win. But maybe it translates to a bit more of a fight. Like take some pride. Don't make it as hard as you possibly can. And maybe that is still like 28 points or 25 points or whatever. But even that would be a point of pride for this very undermanned and overmatched LSU team when you look at where these two teams are coming from.
All right, we'll talk recruiting. Julie Boudouin, who covers it for Tiger Details, has been on top of the story of five-star defensive tackle Mason Smith all season long. In fact, they have Big Man on the Bayou, which is one of the it has been the documentary of Boudouin following Mason Smith throughout this senior season. It's something that you can find on Tiger Details. You can also find it pinned to Julie Boudouin's Twitter account. We'll talk to her next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Daily brought to you by Coy's Diesel. Remember, online at coysdiesel.com. Get in touch with Coy and the crew today. We were eating lunch with the Fredericks, Kenny Frederick, Nick Frederick yesterday. Those guys own Donaldsonville Glass and Body. And Nick, who's got the tow truck over there at Donaldsonville, was talking about how good of friends he and Coy are. In fact, those guys stood in each other's wedding. Coy and the crew. You can go see them today. Coy's Diesel, if you need light, medium, or heavy-duty diesel trucks. Online at coysdiesel.com, or they're located on Airline Highway in Gonzales. Huge shop. Nick was telling a story how that shop has grown from Coy's backyard to about a city block out on Airline in Gonzales. Online at coysdiesel.com.
Coysdiesel.com, coysdiesel.com. Go there today for all your diesel vehicle needs. It's right there in the name. So I thought I was making jokes, right? Because you have all these upgrades, you can do all these great parts, and I saw NOS on there. I'm like, whoa, who would do that? That's wild. Apparently a ton of people do. So if you want to join the club, put NOS in your diesel vehicle, go to coysdiesel.com today.
Tune in Sunday for a full day of NFL coverage starting at noon with the Browns-Titans, followed by Eagles-Packers at 3:25 and Broncos-Chiefs at 7:20. Then, Monday night, the 49ers host the Bills. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Looking forward to it in our Fantasy Blitz. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, talking in the break with the crew, Danny brought up a good point. All three balls are now in the NBA. All three of the big baller bros.
Look at the last page of your notes.
LiAngelo was signed by Detroit, and of course, LaMelo was the third pick in the draft by Charlotte, and then Lonzo is down here running the point for New Orleans. So for as much as we made fun of LeVar Ball, it's pretty incredible to look up and see all three of his sons in the NBA at once. Speaking of impressive, how about the rise of five-star defensive tackle Mason Smith throughout his senior season? It was announced on Monday that Rivals have named him the nation's top overall player. One person who has not been surprised by that jump, obviously, has been Julie Boudouin, who has been there the entire time. In fact, she is documenting Mason Smith's senior season that you can find at Tiger Details. You can also find it on her Twitter account, Big Man on the Bayou. It's been around throughout the Mason Smith senior season, and now Mason is the #1 player in the country going into announcement season. And Julie joins us here on OTB. Julie, thank you for the time this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Are you surprised that Mason is the #1 overall player in the country after seeing everything you have watched and witnessed over the last 365 days?
I was a little surprised that he made the jump from 5 to 1, but the more I thought about it, the more it was kind of a given. It was almost obvious when you see Mason up close and you watch the things that he can do. I mean, the guy's just scratching the surface. I mean, his potential is limitless. So, surprised, but also not surprised.
He was given his invitation to the All-American Bowl earlier this week. Is that where he's going to make his announcement?
No, he's not. He has plans to make his announcement on December 16th, on the first day of early signing period, and he'll be doing that at his school.
You've witnessed a lot of recruiting up close in covering this, but now with the #1 player in the country and somebody who has projected to be this type of player throughout his senior season, being a top 5 player all season, how wild has this recruitment gotten?
It's been pretty wild. I mean, like I said, it's crazy to see it kind of unfold. I mean, I had no idea filming this months ago that at the end of the season he'd be the #1 player in the country. I mean, in all honesty, I personally wanted to do this just because we're both from Houma.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool. No one from this area has ever been as highly recruited as he has. So, no, I had no idea that when it all ended, it was going to be the number one player in the country, and it was going to get as wild as it got. I had no idea that there was going to be all this package deal with him and Corey and all of this stuff. So it's been pretty cool to see. I don't know if the Homa area is going to foresee somebody like this, at least not in the next couple of years or anything like that. Not to his caliber. I mean, he's just a kind of a really special player.
Julie, we just discussed it a bit last segment, but what's your opinion on the idea that this is like a make or break recruit for kind of the psyche of the LSU fan base?
I don't know how much more the LSU fan base can take if they don't win. Let's be honest, right? I mean, I do think he is the big fish. I mean, of course, they want to land Corey Foreman, but I mean, Mason is in LSU's backyard. He's in Coach O's backyard, basically. They've been recruiting him for years. He has great relationships with all of his staffers. It's a position that Coach O knows well. It's a position that Coach O coaches. I mean, and now he's the number one player in the country. I don't see how you can miss out on that type of talent. Obviously, there's still a lot of other big fish out there. I named Corey Foreman. Tristan Lee, some people might say he's a bigger fish at this point because of the need at O-line. But, yeah, Mason is definitely can't miss.
What about Corey Foreman? What is the latest on his recruiting, where he stands, his relationship with Mason, all of it?
They still have a great relationship, and as far as I understand, they talk frequently. They may talk every day. They play video games. I mean, Mason gets out of school pretty early, and Corey's homeschooling this semester because of the virus and everything. So they talk frequently. As far as Corey goes, my understanding is he should be in town this weekend for the Alabama LSU game. So that's a good sign. This will be his third trip to Baton Rouge. He and Mason won't hang out. But, I mean, there's still other schools in play. I mean, he's a guy that, I mean, these other schools, the USCs, the Clemsons, the Georgia, Arizona State, all those other programs, they're not going to stop until the ink is signed. And you know, I don't – he's – at this point, I think we're all guessing, honestly. I still have a future cast on him to LSU. Today, I don't feel as good about that as I did maybe a couple weeks ago, but I knew that going in. Like, this is going to be one of those recruitments that's going to go down till the very end.
Julie Boudouin, who covers sports and recruiting for Tiger Details. You can follow her on Twitter at Julie_Boudouin. She's been in the back pocket of Mason Smith, the five-star defensive tackle, throughout his senior season, documenting it. You can watch it, Big Man on the Bayou, on Tiger Details, and check out a couple of the episodes on her Twitter account. You can explain this better than we can because you cover it every day, but we've tried to explain it and just kind of from our point of view and talking to some of these recruits and talking to the college coaches, how much does the outcome of Saturday night's game mean to the recruit and what they want to decide into the future?
You know, I think for some it might matter and for some it doesn't. You know, talking to Mason, talking to some other recruits or parents of recruits, they know. I mean, you just look at the talent that LSU lost. I mean, of course there's going to be a drop-off. Now, I don't think we thought it would be what we're seeing.
Sure.
But they know that. I mean, Mason will tell you, like, it has nothing to do with him. He still looks at LSU the same, and they'll be on the rise again soon. It's basically the message that he'll tell anybody.
I don't want you to I'm not asking you to speak for anyone, but from your point of view, have you been able to judge or gauge who's been able to build the best relationship with him? It seems like this is coming down to Kirby Smart and Ed Ogeron and Nick Saban. Just from your point of view, do you see somebody that's been able to kind of dig in a little deeper?
I mean, I definitely would say LSU. Just because of the number of staffers. I mean, that entire staff is basically recruiting him. He has a great relationship with Coach Ogeron. He has a great relationship with Christian Lacouture. So, I mean, and don't get me wrong, he talks to those other coaches also. I mean, he's a very humble, respectful young man. Like, he returns phone calls when they call. He gets to those coaches when they call him or if he misses the call. So he's definitely still talking to those other programs. But, yeah, I would definitely say LSU is kind of throwing the whole staff at him at this point.
Julie, excellent stuff. We appreciate you jumping on with not a lot of notice this morning, as I know it can get crazy especially this time of season for somebody covering recruiting. Remember, Julie Boudouin is on Twitter at Julie_Boudouin, and you can follow everything at Tiger Details as she is covering Mason Smith as the number one player in the country. You will not find better coverage anywhere than Julie Boudouin's Twitter account. Thank you for the update this morning.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Julie.
There's Julie checking in this morning from the Bayou Parishes as she gives an update on Mason Smith, as Smith was tabbed the number one player in the country by Rivals earlier this week. It's coming down to a Georgia, LSU, Alabama battle that Smith will ultimately decide on December 16th. So we appreciate Julie for dropping some insight there. We'll close that hour 2 next.
Off the Bench with Colada and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by the Lanois Insurance Agency. Remember, LANOIXagency.com. If you need auto, home, or business insurance, find them there online at LANOIXagency.com. Told you about BG and his Instagram earlier this week as he's been talking a little business on Instagram and his stories and saying that he's had some success on helping people out in their policies. You can follow him on Instagram at BG Lanois, but you can also get in touch with him by just dialing 749-5640, and they can get you into a policy or at least give you a free quote today at 749-5640 online, LANOIXagency.com.
LANOIXagency.com, LanoisAgency.com. Go there today for all your insurance needs. Let them be an insurance one-stop shop like I do. You bundle your home, your auto, you need some flood insurance. They do it all. They find you policies that match your specific needs. They actively work to save you money, and you don't lift a finger. So go to LanoisAgency.com, LanoisAgency.com.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
T-Bob Abear here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who do.
It's a Thursday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time. Full show with no Thursday night football game as we're live from Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Tune in at 6 p.m. as we recap last night's games and look ahead to future action right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, appreciate Julie Boudouin for checking in and give us an update on Mason Smith, as his decision day will be December 16th for not only the number one player in the state of Louisiana, but the number one overall player in the country, according to Rivals.com, as that was published on Monday. Big five-star defensive tackle out of Terrebonne High School. The Terrebonne crew was knocked out last Friday night by Dutchtown as they were blanked. I believe it was 26-0. But so Mason Smith's high school senior season is over. He will play in the Army All-American game coming up, and he will make his announcement on December 16th. If you're looking for information on recruiting or the latest on Mason Smith, you got to follow Julie Boudouin on Twitter. Julie_Boudouin is where you follow her. That is Boudwin.
Greg Lamont asked a question in the Byford YouTube chat. How does O-line play affect that? We're having a Finley-Johnson debate in there, which at the end of the day is a pointless debate because they're both basically equal, and neither one of them, like both of them will go as the O-line goes. Neither one of them is capable of masking the vast deficiencies on this team. But Greg Lamont asks, how does O-line play affect the play caller? Does it narrow the playbook considerably if they play bad? Also, does having freshman quarterbacks affect which plays are being called? Absolutely, on both counts. It's one of the reasons why I am critical of this offensive staff right now, but it's not necessarily for the game plan or the play to play. Like, I understand that they are dealing, my critiques are understanding that they are dealing with massive limitations, right? I don't know how you call plays when you have an O-line that just isn't blocking them and you're already limited to a very narrow portion of the playbook because you're trying to, give your freshman quarterbacks a slice that they can mentally handle so you don't overwhelm them. So already, yes, LSU's play callers and offensive staff they're in a very tough spot. Okay, they're a bit binded, but it doesn't make them blameless. And there's things that frustrate me, like again the hurry up, third and short, fourth and short zone runs. This team just can't do it. And how many times you have to have it fail? How many times you have to have other teams know exactly what you are doing before you adjust? And we go to the A&M game last week. The offensive line's pass blocking problems from a scheme standpoint were not personnel related. Yes, the personnel was bad at times and you got straight up beat. But a lot of times you're getting out schemed. And whether it's because you're being predictable, for some reason you were choosing to slide instead of going 5-0, man up blocking, and then kind of sorting it out like we talked about. And we talked about the whole that podcast on Monday. Coach O came on this show on Tuesday without me mentioning 5-0s. I was asking why were y'all sliding? And you could hear like the regret in his voice that we should have been 5-0. But my deal is, how when you watch A&M film did you not arrive at that same conclusion? And then how during the game when you spend an entire first half blocking one guy with two and allowing a free runner, did you not arrive at that same conclusion? So that's my problem with staff. That has nothing to do with your personnel limitations.
How do you play 5 weeks with Damone Clark and Baskerville watching?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's for certainly staff-wide, the coaches have questions to ask about their evaluation and why it was so off this summer. And that's why these numbers are kind of dumb either way. But, like, it does become a legitimate criticism. Why did this guy get 18 when look at how these other guys are playing, right? And that's Curry, that's Baskerville, that's O saying it's the best defense that you've ever seen before. And actually, it's funny. So we're having this Finley-Johnson debate, right? And one of the things I'm saying is, like, look, man, if Johnson would outperform TJ Finley at practice, he would play. And the counterpoint by, like, Let me give credit to the guys I'm debating with here. The counterpoint, but like Phil G, Skona's overrated, Ryan, Brooks, is, well, how can we trust the coaching staff evaluation? And it's like, and I don't have a great counterpoint to that. My TJ Finley and Max Johnson takes are mainly just built on what I have seen on film. I think Finley has a slightly higher trajectory. I don't think there's a demonstrably huge difference. And in fact, if Johnson started, I wouldn't think twice about it. I'd be like, all right, sure, whatever. And I think you're going to see both play this Saturday. And again, I don't know that it will matter. But that does show. That does show, though, how the distrust in the coach's evaluation, how that comes about, and then how it gets used in analysis and in arguments moving forward, and how it's actually kind of hard to argue against, because there have been inexplicable moments from the staff this year where you would think that these very simple football problems could be solved, and yet they are not, and that sliding against A&M's key. And again, I hate that I forgot to parlay the pass checks question into this on Tuesday, but I imagine that LSU needs to do some serious self-scouting when it comes offensively. Now, part of this is having a handcuff playbook, but they seem like they are a bit more predictable now. It seems like teams are knowing what to expect and when to expect it, and A&M especially. And Elko's a very good defensive coordinator, but they seem to take full advantage of that.
All right, coming up in the third hour today, OTB-OT. We'll talk more. T-Bob will talk more about the matchup between LSU, Alabama. Also give some thoughts on the Saints and Falcons coming up on Sunday. A little sound from Ogeron in the SEC teleconference that we may not have gotten to early on in today's show that you may be able to hear from as well. Remember, anything that you missed here on OTB is always brought back to you by Carriages of Baton Rouge. Stop in and see Carriages, especially during the holiday season, with great selections of new inventory on winter clothing that you can find online at carriagesbr.com. Also on Instagram, Facebook, great social media for Carriages. Tell Will you heard it right here on Off the Bench. All-Star Toyota powering all OTB for another hour coming at you.
Off the Bench with Colada and T-Bob.
Daily brought to you by Oshner Sports Medicine Program. Remember, you can find them in all the listening areas, whether it's right here in Baton Rouge on the Grove Boulevard or out in New Orleans on Clearview Parkway, North Shore in Covington. Oshner has great sports facilities to get you back in the game, state-of-the-art facilities, whether it's MRI equipment, physical therapy equipment, all of it under one roof. Surgery, online, Oshner.org.
Oshner.org, Oshner.org. Look, if you want to maximize your athletic potential, you're in junior high, high school, maybe you're an ancient athlete, you can get bigger, stronger, faster with Oshner Performance Training. Now, if you're an ancient athlete, you might catch an injury too. And if you do, there's no better place to go than Oshner. First off, they can explore all the non-surgical options, like the latest and greatest, right? And that would be ideal, but if you do have to go under a knife, there's no better experience than Oshner. The best doctors, the best facilities, the best pre-op process, post-op process. What are you waiting for? Go to Oshner.org today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Thursday, December the 3rd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect thunderstorms with a high of 62. In case you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com, brought to you by Carriages. Follow today's show on Twitter at OTB_ESPN. Watch live at the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. You can get inside the Bayou Ford chat to interact. And make sure you subscribe to the Off the Bench and the Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channels. Set your notifications. New content is posted there daily. OTBOT starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome in OTBOT. T-Bob, Musso, and Danny hanging out with you today. Got a bunch of Saints talk, a bunch of LSU talk. On my iPhone all morning, been watching some speed chess, boys. The world champion, Magnus Carlsen, taking on Vladislav Artemiev. Very exciting. Carlsen winning here early on. Musso, your thoughts on the match? Who do you have winning?
Give me Vladimir.
Vladislav?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Vladislav.
The upset, huh?
Yeah.
Against
man.
the world champ.
Love the underdog.
Yeah, okay.
Love the underdog.
Yeah,
here.
I've always said that about you.
Yeah.
I've always said that about you. A lot of talk going on. Kind of what we end on, some LSU stuff there in the Bayou Ford huddle. Whatever. The Bayou Ford YouTube channel. Sorry, Nookie. I know you're out there tearing your eyes out right now. We're going to do something that you're probably not going to enjoy this hour, which is, we're going to talk Saints next segment, but this segment, here in a couple minutes, we're going to do what I do with every team that LSU plays, and we're going to go through these statistical rankings of Alabama to give you an idea of the uphill battle that you have to climb. Now, it is going to be very numbers heavy, but it'll give you an idea of what you're up against and how, if you do pull this off, it would be legendary. First, I want to discuss a couple comments here in the YouTube chat. Brooks Scotberry says, my biggest problem is O doing the opposite of what got him a national championship. Surround yourself with an elite staff with a great scheme. If Bo Pelini and Coach Insminger leave, neither would be an OC or DC anywhere else in D1. It's a pretty fair point there by Brooks Godberry. And this almost becomes a larger question about the hiring practices at LSU. Now, Swamp Dragon with the deep theory here says hiring retread Pelini. Oh, wait, no. It was this is Tony Roya. I seriously think Pelini was a hold hire for someone who will be available either this year or next year. Just wish I knew who. LOL. I wish you were right there, Tony. But the problem is the 3-year, $6.9 million fully guaranteed contract would speak to that not actually being the case unless you're playing the most expensive 4D chess that I could possibly imagine. And so I talk about the hiring process, right? Because going on, who was it? Phil G says, how does O go from young and innovative OC to where they are now? Does O need to be babysat on these coaching hires? Brady fell into his lap, and Aranda was already here. The rest have been bad. Now, you want to criticize, critics do. You want to credit where credit's due. You want to be objective. You cannot say that Brady fell into his lap. Brady gave a presentation at LSU, as the Saints normally do, when just a little meeting of the minds between the two staffs, and Brady blew away the room. And O was the one who said, we have to have this guy. So there's enough criticism to go around without creating false criticism. So, yes, absolutely, O was responsible for hiring Joe Brady. Unfortunately, outside of that, when you look at the Matt Canada hire, and I'm not going to. I think the Ensminger hire is still a good one. I can't argue with that. I know that it was a very, and who knows when it comes, but without Joe Brady. But the point is, I think both those guys actually worked better in tandem than either one would have alone. So I put both those in a positive hiring category. But then you look at Canada, no. Pelini, no. And so if we're being generous, that's about a 50% hit rate. If we're being less generous, because you probably throw Linehan in the no category as well, depending on how you want to sort it out, you could bump it down to like a 25 or 33% hit rate. Even the 50, though, is a bit concerning. Hiring's hard. I understand that, right? But remember the entire pitch that we were talking about at the beginning of all this is the CEO model, where a head coach's game day responsibilities are sometimes, less than 50% of the job. When you talk about recruiting, when you talk about managing boosters and relationships and just everything else that you have to do, you are very much a politician, a CEO type of person when you're the head coach of one of these major football programs. And so the idea behind this setup is that you have to hire well, right? And ideally, you're going to be hiring a lot because that means you're doing it right. If you're having guys go on to get bigger and better jobs, thumbs up, you made a very good hire. Unfortunately, when you look at the staff right now, who will go on to get a bigger and better job? Almost no one. And so when you adopt that CEO model, you do become very dependent on those hires being successful. And you've missed enough now with Canada, which turned out to be an abject disaster, and Bo Pelini, which we'll see what happens in these final 3 games, but even with the really good A&M game, has been an abject disaster, literally record-settingly bad. Linehan hasn't been a disaster, but it hasn't really done anything anyway. That's the most offensive part about Scott Linehan is it just feels like he's there. It just feels like you're paying him to copy and paste the same offense from last season. Where are the wrinkles? Where's the innovations that Linehan's bringing to the table? And so when you look at those hires, you have to ask yourself, okay, what is it in our hiring process, in our hiring philosophies? And I do find it a bit interesting, and I don't know why this is or how exactly you would explain this, but in Joe Brady, you had a very young and innovative mind. Dave Aranda, a relatively young and, yes, still innovative mind, and yet who do you replace those guys with? Old retreads. And, being on this side of the mic, I was just as wrong, right? I sat here and I applauded these hires. And I gave them the benefit of the doubt. And I thought it made sense. And it's because I thought that the staff had earned the benefit of the doubt. Well, look, we comment on what's happening, right? And I never pretend to be right all the time. I mean, whatever. You're trying to predict the future. You're wrong just as much as you're right. If the Degeneration Dome is any indication, you're wrong way more than you are right. So I'm not saying that I would do any better if I was in a higher position. I would do any better that is currently coaching on that staff. But at the same time, I am not paid very handsomely to do that job. That is not my job. And so it does cause you to be, now with hindsight, the benefit of hindsight, it's 2020. It does, you do have to, LSU needs to do some serious self-evaluation and ask them what has gone so wrong in our hiring process. And if you want to look for local sports parallels that you can draw, look no further than what me and Jeff Duncan were talking about in this hour yesterday. The New Orleans Saints front office, pre-Jeff Ireland, and I'm blanking on the other player personnel guy that made a big difference for them. But pre the front office turnover, when Ryan Pace went to the Bears, all these guys leave, the Saints may have been the worst front office in the NFL. At that moment, in the previous 5 years, not only have they been 7-9 3 of those years, but in the previous 5 years, they had drafted the least amount of players in the NFL. So they had given up the most draft picks, and then out of those picks, they had the lowest percentage of picks in the NFL actually remaining on their roster. So not only were you not drafting enough, you were not value picks enough, but you were striking out on all your picks. And then you combine that with like the Jarris Bird contract, the Junior Gillette contract. I mean, losing Darren Sproles when you lost him, when he went on to help Philly win another Super Bowl, he went on to have great success over there. I mean, Malcolm Jenkins, the list goes on and on, the guys that you sacrificed at the altar for these bad contracts. And so the Saints had to sit there as they were maybe going to go 7-5 again for the fourth time in 5 years, which they managed to avoid, but it was 3 times. But they had to sit there and they had to be painfully honest with themselves. What mistakes have we made that led to this? What is wrong with our core philosophies that is causing us to strike out on so many of these draft picks? Why are we not evaluating these pro players correctly? Now, unfortunately, I don't think I have enough information to comment on the specifics of what was so wrong in that evaluation process and what exactly they changed to fix it. I wish I knew. I mean, this would be something fascinating to talk to like Jeff Ireland about, because as the head of scouting college players, ever since he has come in, the Saints drafts have been astounding. They have been stellar. It's kind of wild where their hit rate is at right now. And then make no mistake, look at where the team is at right now. It's literally the most complete roster in the entirety of the NFL. And that's because they changed some personnel. They changed some core philosophies. They were honest with themselves about where they were misstepping and where they were going wrong. And then all of a sudden, when you get the personnel right again, well, then Sean Payton's strengths and his offensive creativity and his mind could shine once again. And you also look at the Saints. For a while there, they wanted Drew Brees to make up for offensive line deficiencies, right? They weren't paying guards. They weren't paying centers, whatever. Deal with that. And Brees started to struggle. Then they trade for Max Unger. Again, they say, what are we doing wrong? They trade for Max Unger. It rights the ship, and Brees is back. And so if LSU right now, this staff and administration, if they can handle it, if they want to be successful, they have to be fully honest and objective with themselves. They have to look at this staff. They have to, like I said, be ruthless, cold-blooded about who is working, who is not, who is underwhelming. If somebody is wrong, why did you hire them? And then what values or kind of core philosophies can you change in the future to avoid making that mistake again? And you only get so many chances at this. Sean Payton has a long rope. He won a Super Bowl. His skins on the wall speak for itself, right? I mean, even at that time, amidst those 7-9 season struggling teams, if Sean Payton was to hit the open market, he would be scooped up at about $9 million a year. It's why he got that huge extension in the middle of those struggles. It's because his talent was still obvious. So let's see if LSU can do a similar sort of soul-searching this offseason. And in my opinion, if you want to right the ship long-term, and if you're Coach O and you want to remain the coach at LSU long-term, that is going to be key to making it happen. So we'll see, man. It's tough. It's really tough to be honest with yourself. I lie to myself all the time. I think if we're being honest, most of us do. At times we make excuses for ourselves. And unfortunately, in big-time college football, where the margins are so tiny that determine, a win, a loss, a national championship, or nothing, you have to be more ruthless than us, as the average people are. And we'll see if they can do that. All right, when we get back, we'll get into the Alabama statistical breakdown, and then I want to talk Saints-Falcons part 2 as I've got some thoughts on how this thing could play out on Sunday. This is OTBOT. Give me all your comments in the Bayou 4 YouTube chat. We'll get to them as well here on 104.5, 100.3, and 94.7 ESPN.
OTBOT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Saban office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Saban have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
Yo, join us for a Thursday edition of Hanging with Hester and Haney, presented by Richards Honda from noon to 3. We welcome on Peter Burns of the SEC Network. Hunt Palmer sits in with us for an hour, and we do a deep dive into Saints Falcons on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yo, what up? Welcome back. OTB OT. Get us some of these questions in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Emil Narud saying it's very rare for successful young coordinators to stay at one place. Yeah, absolutely, right? I mean, you're never going to get like the Brent Venables of the world are the exception, not the rule. Alabama hitting on Steve Sarkisian at a time in his career where he's randomly in this kind of insecure spot where it's going to take a while for him to build up enough for another major team to commit to him, but he's also having a lot of success. He's happy where it is. Like, sometimes you just got to get really lucky and you got to hit on the right guy who's at the right time in his life where he's going to be content. That said, the reason why we focus so much on hiring process this last segment is, again, because the entire model, the entire CEO model is built on solid hiring. And nobody's perfect in that regard, but you do need to hit more than you've missed, and that's just not the case with LSU right now. Greg Lamont and T-Bob, when are you going to get a road bike, come ride with me? Never. I do not want to get hit by a car. That sounds terrible. Todd Jones, how do we have an awful O-line if all we hear is this recruiting class ranked number 2 in the nation and this recruiting class ranked number 3? This gets into something that we talk about all the time, positional recruiting. And also sometimes things go awry. I mean, Hanny, I'll give credit to Hanny here, and I would say just come back at Hang with Hester to Hanny and ask him this question, because he has a really good, off the top of his head, grasp on the departures in these recent recruiting classes and how that's really made you deal with some unexpected numbers deficiencies that you wouldn't think you would have otherwise. But there's certainly been years, even recent years, where LSU just hasn't amassed the raw offensive line numbers that you need in a class. And then you know what? Sometimes you make some really good moves, like you add like a Damian Lewis from junior college, and that's great. But when you're talking about class numbers, a junior college guy doesn't really count towards the freshman class that he is lumped in with, right? Because he will not be there as that freshman class gets older. You can go ahead and bump him ahead a couple of years. So you're not technically gaining a long-term number in that regard either. Again, it's why everybody's going to be looking at this O-line class this year to see if they can add to that number. Phil G saying they waited too long to lock up Joe Brady. Should have given him $4.5 million over 3 years after Florida. Let's be painfully clear. Joe Brady and his agent were taking no deal that would have stopped him from going to the NFL. Joe Brady was raised in the NFL with Sean Payton. That's where he wants to be, and it makes sense. And here he is already at the forefront of conversations to maybe be an NFL head coach. I wonder, do you think he'd take it if he was offered a job? I mean, because it's one of those situations where you feel like you have to take it, right?
He would.
I mean, you feel like you have to, but I wonder if he would say maybe even like, maybe I should pump the brakes a little bit here. Is this too much too fast?
And that'd be the worry with Joe Brady is it too much too fast? Because it's a lot different being a coordinator than running the entire. Yeah.
Yes. No.
You're
I mean,
going to be the first one
absolutely.
to go when things go awry, and the franchise is going to be the head coach.
Absolutely.
Then the GM. So. Let's see, Joe Brady's 31.
Yeah, I think so. He's younger than me.
He's got no prior head coaching experience anywhere.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, it would be wild.
So I mean, it would be nuts, and that.
But like the Cliff Kingsbury success, the Sean McVay success. Now, granted, for every one of them, there's like a Zach Taylor,
and they were a head coach somewhere though. I mean, Kingsbury was at least a head coach in college.
Yeah.
Joe Brady has not been a head coach.
Yeah. No.
That would be a wild risk to take. I'm not putting it past somebody that somebody would take it.
It's
and
true.
I think he would take the job. I just don't know if it would be a great idea on either side.
Ashari Robbins says, man, honestly, you have to look at the real. Saban has people in place as soon as things go. He's prepared. Butch Jones, Enos, Loxley, Dayball. Same on defense. Yeah, look, Bama has definitely hit more than they have missed when it comes to hiring. And you especially want to focus on offensive hiring there, right? Because you think that Saban's kind of going to have his defensive coordinator run the defense that he wants to run almost no matter what. But certainly some of the hires have been better than others offensively, right? Lane Kiffin was a next-level OC for them. Sark has been in that same vein. I think they were a step above, like Loxley and Dayball and stuff. But also, it's, again, this is just an eternal conversation piece. I understand why we have to compare everything LSU does to Alabama, but also it's you're never going to come out looking good. Like, again, one of the reasons why I think almost any coach would look better at Alabama does go back to the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. What coaches have ever dealt with a personnel issue at Alabama like you are currently having at LSU? It's easy to coach teams when you are consistently more talented. That's why when you're judging Alabama hires, I do think you have to go your bar has to be higher. Like Lane Kiffin's exceeded it, Sark exceeded it, maybe like Dayball and some of the other guys came below it, even though you can say, oh, but their numbers were still really good. Shout out to Butch. Daryl Dennis, maybe it was Terry Fontenot in the Saints front office, the other hire that I'm thinking of. Jeff mentioned it yesterday. You can go back and listen on the Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channel, as you should subscribe to that for all of the Saints coverage that your black and gold Who Dat heart can desire. Speaking of the New Orleans Saints, Saints Falcons, part 2, this Sunday. I'm very excited. First off, shout out to the man, Cam Jordan, 21 sacks in 19 career games against the Falcons, added 3 to that total last game. Can he add even more this game? That question will be critical, and I'll explain why. 8 sacks for the Saints defense as a whole last time, just in case you've forgotten, which I'm sure you haven't because it was fantastic. Demario Davis had 1, Cam had 3, Onyemata got himself 2, Trey Hendrickson got himself 2. It was an incredible game. If that Saints defensive line plays half as good, I think the Saints win the game again. Where I would be worried if I was a Falcons fan is that I think the Saints defense is even better now than it was 2 weeks ago with the continued rise of Quan Alexander. Like, literally, the Saints' one thing that could have been perceived as a weakness, which I think was Alex Anzalone in that position, now looks like a strength. As I said earlier, with Devin White struggling against the pass recently, my old man, me and him were talking on the phone yesterday, and I got to give him credit. He was like, I think you can make the argument that Quan Alexander and Demario Davis are the best linebacker tandem in the NFC South. I mean, Levante David and Devin White are very good, but they're not as, especially not Devin White, is not as complete of a player right now as these two are. Plus, last game, you didn't have Marshawn Lattimore against the Falcons. He returns. Maybe Jackrabbit being back or not makes that kind of a wash. But again, given the Saints front office, their secondary depth is such that it hasn't really mattered. You still have P-Rob, you still have P.J. Williams. C.J. Gardner-Johnson continues to make plays week in and week out. So the defense, if it's half as good, they win that game again. But it's not to say that they can just roll the ball out and play, because the defense is going to be critical. Why? Because of what the Saints are limited to and or can do offensively right now. And make no mistake, for as bad as you want to talk about Taysom Hill, quarterback of the future, can he throw the ball to a level that you feel comfortable with him being that quarterback to the future? For all of that talk, I just think it misses the point this year, right? The point, like Peyton said on Sunday this year, it's not about aesthetics. It's not about proving what Taysom Hill can or can't do. It is simply about winning the game. And the core fundamental blue-collar truth of this New Orleans Saints team is that when Taysom Hill is at quarterback, the separating factor between you and the rest of the NFL is the rushing attack. And it's not hard to see why. Look at Alvin Kamara, look at Latavius Murray, and then look at Taysom Hill, who all, interestingly, last game against the Falcons, where the Falcons rushed for like 50 yards on like 2 yards a carry, and the Saints rushed for 160 on over 4 yards a carry. Last game out against Atlanta, Hill had 50 yards, Kamara had 50 yards, and Latavius Murray had 50 yards. So you have a three-headed beast there that isn't just impressive because they can keep each other fresh and they can spread out those carries, but you have a three-headed beast that's impressive because it attacks you in 3 different ways, from 3 different directions with 3 different skill sets. Right? Kamara is your do-it-all back. Now, granted, he really is the do-it-all guy, right? Like, I have no problem running Kamara up the middle, but obviously you think on the flanks, that's where he is at his best. Put that speed on the edge. Get him in space. He is one of the hardest to tackle players in the entirety of the NFL. And then obviously his receiving acumen brings a whole nother threat the defense has to approach. So he's going to weaken the defensive flanks because he's going to force you to pay attention to the edges. And then lo and behold, who comes right up the middle? How tall is Latavius Murray? Like 6'4"? I mean, the dude is lineman size. He is a giant. I want to say he's like 6'4", 230 or 220 or something. Well, he's the punch up the middle.
6'3", 230.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, just a massive individual. So Kamara's stressing you on the flanks. Latavius Murray, Danny, you called it. You wanted a Latavius Murray game. You've gotten a couple here recently. Why? Because the rushing attack is the strength right now. And so Kamara weakens you on the edges. Murray gets you up the middle. I still go back to the Detroit game where Murray had 2 touchdowns on some excellent red zone possessions where on 3rd and goal you used Kamara as a huge decoy, only they give him the ball then to Latavius Murray. So obviously, and that was with Breeze, that was already a powerful 1-2 punch, especially in the red zone. So then what happens when you throw the quarterback into the mix? And all of a sudden you have a quarterback who is actually the fastest guy on your team. You have a quarterback who's running like a 4.3 at like 240 or whatever he is. And for those that know about like football theory, right, the biggest advantage that you have when you run a quarterback is that you gain a blocker. Think about a quarterback on a normal rushing play. They hand the ball off and they stand there. That you have to 11 on 11. That's a wasted man at that point. So all of a sudden when you have Taysom Hill and he is the running threat, well, then you're gaining that man back, meaning from a scheme and playbook standpoint, it opens everything up. Why does Sean Payton love Taysom Hill so much on 3rd down? For that reason. And so that's just looking at Hill as a pure runner, not even taking his arm into account, but you don't even need to take his arm into account because that's where his value comes from. So if you're a defense, how do you defend against that? I just don't know that you can, at least not for 4 quarters. And that's why I say that the defense can't just roll the ball out, is because there are paths to the Saints losing to this game, and one of them would be falling behind early. I don't know that I have seen enough from Taysom Hill to say that I feel comfortable with him being able to throw your way into a comeback or throw your way to victory. In fact, Musso, you're shaking your head back there. I don't think you want to see him throw at all.
I keep running him. If it were,
but that's the danger though, right? Because you could get forced into having to throw.
Yeah.
If it, maybe he'll rise to the occasion. I'm not saying he can or can't. We're talking about best path to victory. And if you look at Atlanta, New Orleans game 1, well, it was a final score that was separated by quite a bit. Remember, a lot of that game was the offense kind of figuring itself out as the defense allowed them to, because the defense just held the Falcons completely in check. So you got to look for something similar there. And if the defense can do that, you don't have to be as down in the last game, but if you can hold them in check and avoid Taysom Hill to have to throw the ball eventually, I don't care how good you play him early on, the Saints rushing attack right now is like Derrick Henry just spread out among 3 different players. Eventually, they will lean on you. They will break through. So it starts defensively. Their excellent rush defense, putting the Falcons in 3rd and long, creating sack opportunities and getting the Falcons back off the field, not allowing them to force the Saints to pass. And then if you can do that, watch out, because the Saints offensive rushing attack right now with Taysom Hill is one of the best, if not the best, in the entire NFL and is getting better week to week. I wonder how much Adam Troutman we see this Sunday. Well, that's not here nor there. That's just a conversation for another day. All right, when we get back here on OTBOT, we're going to go into those Alabama stats. So if trigger warning for anybody who doesn't want to be a little intimidated by the numbers that you are about to hear here on Off the Bench.
OTBOT.
Trigger warning for anybody who hates fun, because you should go into Hooters. And I'm about to talk about Hooters, your headquarters for football. But why is it your headquarters, T-Bob? Well, let's do the math. Wings, check. Beers, check. Sports, check. Hooters Girls, check. Television, check. Fun, delightfully tacky environment, check. Okay. Renovation of the Segan Lane location, check. Done last fall. Excellent. New TVs, new bars, new floors. But look, if you can't get into Hooters during the pandemic, because space is limited, bring Hooters to you. Download the Hooters phone app, and you get a free appetizer when you do so. There's also great deals throughout the app all the time that you can check out. But also, you can just order wings to go, get them right to your house. Get them right to your house, and on game day, you don't cook, you don't clean, you just eat them delicious wings. You're having people over. You don't need to worry twice about it. Go to HootersToGo.com, order them wings, and just enjoy your football. Hooters, your headquarters for football.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, After Further Review, and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's round 2 of high school football playoffs, and we have you covered Friday night starting at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, Catholic High and Rummel at 7, and we wrap things up with a full 2 hours of the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show at 10 on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Failure happens to us all, but it's how champions evolve. The only thing that matters from a loss is if you get back up when you fall. You gotta get up. Failure happens to us all.
OTB, OT, with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
He knows how to win on the college level. I think the NFL will be a different game for him. Welcome back, OTBOT. Musa, right for the break there, or right before we got back, bringing up the fact that I guess Texas fans were on the message board yesterday trying to internet sleuth their way to an answer as to whether or not a hit that Urban Meyer done on Fox Sports was actually done in Austin. Did they come up with any convincing argument?
I mean, dude, they convinced them. They convinced themselves. I mean, they're sold. Urban's in Austin right now.
Yeah.
They were matching the curtains in the video to the mock of this hotel room, and the chair matched. And I mean, they're Urban's there, man. I think he's signing the contract.
It's like that Netflix documentary, Don't F with Cats, which is actually not that good. It has a strong start. It way overstays its welcome. But it's that same sort of deal. They kind of solve this massive puzzle about this guy who committed this crime in this video, and they do it with the barest of details and resources. So never doubt the internet's ability to figure stuff like that out. That said, never doubt a college football message board ability to just completely lose their mind and run rampant with something that is just flat out not true. That said, if Urban Meyer, you said it best, Musso, if Urban Meyer goes to Texas, what are your thoughts?
Texas is back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's as close to a sure thing.
Yeah. I mean, look at everywhere he's been.
He is
Bowling Green,
everywhere.
Utah, obviously Florida, Ohio State.
You know he'll be able to recruit it.
How wild would that be if he went to Texas and then he ended up winning a national championship? Think about the three kind of just blue-blooded programs that you would have led to natties at that point. When you're talking about Florida, Ohio State, and Texas, different parts of the country really too. For a lot of that, though, you could argue Texas and Florida are kind of similar. That'd be pretty unreal. I just wonder if he wants to come back. He's a really good commentator. You just never know with these coaches, though. They're so obsessive. I think they're so competitive. It never quite leaves them. He does have health problems, but we'll wait and see.
I was about to say, that's the thing. If he does come back, your worry is how long do you keep him? Which, again, they might trade it all. Who cares? Just get us the natty, get us a couple, and we're good to go.
Isn't it kind of time for Texas to put their money where their mouth is, though? They're always talking about how they have all the money in the world, too, right? Like they have all the money in the world. They can hire whoever they want. Well, if that's true, give Urban Meyer the absurd, over-the-top, exorbitant, like where our jaws hit the floor. Like that's the type of money. If you really want him.
10 million.
Like, yeah, just like go, just straight up, just give him more than like Sweeney. Yes,
deal.
yes, but even more. Like because Jimbo makes 7.5. Ogeron's now at 7 something. Saban's, I mean, without all of his added compensation, Saban's at what, like 10?
I think
maybe
somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, yeah. So give him 10. You'd have to give more than that, I think. Just make it the Godfather offer. Make an offer you cannot refuse if you really want that. And then have it blow up in your face and we'll all laugh at you. That'd be awesome. I don't think
I like laughing at Texas.
Urban would probably be. It's been fun. It's definitely been fun. Also, for all the concerns about Coach O, and granted, there is a lot to fix. It is unquestioned that he was a better hire than Tom Herman. I mean, there are still people that will try to argue that point, which is the most nonsensical thing that I've ever heard in my life. But it is unquestioned. I mean, you got the natty. Herman has done nothing at Texas except for consistently underperform. And now they're not even good offensively, despite the fact they have Sam Ehlinger. It makes no sense. All right. Speaking of college football and teams that are good, let's talk about Alabama. So statistical overpass. You look for weaknesses in the defense. Or, weaknesses in your opponent. Let's see if we found any. In points. Alabama is first in the SEC, scoring 48.5 points per game. What is this, Coach Doug's? They're averaging a 50 burger? The hell is going on here? In points allowed per game, Alabama is first, allowing just 18.5 points per game. So in an all-SEC schedule, they are averaging a 30-point win margin, and they are the only team in the SEC holding their opponents under 20 yards per game. In total yards offensively, Alabama is second in the SEC at 535 yards per game. Ole Miss is first in that category. In passing yards per game, they're second with 358 per. Florida is first in that category. Kyle Trask is throwing for 369 yards a game right now. What's also worrying about that is, if you noticed, all the three schools that I just mentioned, having these incredible offenses, all three still on LSU's schedule. In terms of rushing yards per game, Alabama third, 177. Total defense, Alabama's fourth, 357. They're third in pass defense. They're fourth in rush defense. So, although, the points allowed, the most important, they are number one. They're not maybe as dominant as before. In turnover margin, Alabama's second in the SEC at +6. Here we go. By far, the worst Alabama stat. They're only 9th in sacks. So, offensive line, no problem, no sacks. You're good to go. Don't worry. Just kidding. In all reality, that scares me because even though they're that weak, I fully expect them to be able to take advantage of LSU's pass pro and get pressure all night long. So the one area in which they're statistically weak on paper, I actually think they'll be good this game. Now, in terms of being disruptive, they're second in the league in TFLs with 50 of them on the year. They're third in sacks allowed on the year, so they protect the quarterback well. Third down conversion percentage. They are first in the SEC. They convert 58% of their first downs. Fun fact, how about this? Remember A&M last week went into the LSU game with a nation-leading 62% conversion rate? They actually dropped from 62 to 53. Why? Because they ran into this LSU Bo Pelini defense. Yeah. Eat it, Jimbo. You bum. You dropped into second place. See what happens to Bama after they run into the steel, non-Newtonian fluidic wall that is the LSU Tigers. Red zone touchdown percentage, no surprise here. They are first. 76% of the time they score a touchdown. Red zone touchdown percentage allowed, they are first, only allowing their opponents to score touchdowns 47% of the time. How about this? Interestingly, though, LSU's second on the list. LSU's only allowed opponents 54% touchdown rate in the red zone. So, normally opponents are scoring for 50 out, but if you can get him inside the 20, they're doing a relatively good job of bowing up. And then finally, the one statistical area in which LSU is leading Bama is third down percentage allowed. As Bama is fifth, they're allowing opponents to convert 39% of their third downs. LSU second, only 35%. Okay, Bo Pelini, flex on him. Third down percentage and touchdown allowed percentage. Let's go. Mac Jones is currently third in the SEC. He's over 341 yards per game, 23 touchdowns per game, which is third, 3 INTs, which is tied for first. But here's where it gets dumb. It's the efficiency. Mac Jones is completing 76% of his passes. He has a 207 quarterback rating, which is first, and he is averaging 12 yards per attempt. 12. That's terrifying. What that tells you is that Alabama is the best big play passing game in the entire country, and you are going against the LSU Tigers, who outside of the A&M game have quite literally been the worst pass defense and the worst big play defense in the entire country. Also, that 12 yards per attempt for Mac Jones, that's first in the entire country. And then finally, Devontae Smith. If there's one game, okay, so LSU's not going to win, and so you're not going to watch the game really with that in mind. But if there's one matchup to watch just for fun, watch Derek Stingley Jr. versus Devontae Smith, because this is going to be awesome, y'all. Smith is currently second in the SEC. He's got 72 grabs. He's second to Elijah Moore with 1,074 yards, and he's first with 12 scores. So I hated to do that, but unfortunately, it just gives you an idea of the beast that you're going to be contending with this weekend. And, well, as you can see, there's an ample reason why there's a 29-point spread. All right, let's close out the show next here on OTBOT.
OTBOT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Full hour of football talk with Mike Detillier. Looking forward to it in our Fantasy Blitz. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Welcome back, OTB OT. Danny, Musso, T-Bob, hanging out with you. Hey, what's going on here? Why's it doing this? Sorry. Okay. Trying to get at some comments, but it keeps doing this like auto scroll thing. Well, this is annoying. It's kind of planning on reading some of these comments as like this entire segment, and now I can't have any of them brought up. Okay. Well, Jesus. Welcome back. OTBOT. Anybody want to talk about chess? Anybody? No?
Just
you
you.
okay? Okay.
Just you.
Yep, just me. All right, I'm going to try to bring up the chat on this computer. Yes, I'm very fancy now. I've somehow been in this studio for years, not realizing that every side laptop that's floating around here for producers is a touchscreen. It's made it way tighter. Okay, now I got some of the comments that I can get back to. What's the total for next year? Oh, the hot seat? No, that wasn't it. Jesus. Okay, this entire thing is just a disaster. Never mind. Okay, look. Saturday's going to be bad. It is what it is. Take your licks. Accept that the future, you can bounce back from it. We'll continue to break it down tomorrow, though I don't know that much more needs to be said on this LSU-Alabama game. It's kind of fascinating how uninteresting it is just a year after it was one of the most interesting games that you would ever see. And then in terms of the Saints, man, I don't know. Look, this could be your last week without Drew Brees. Now, maybe like Duncan talked about yesterday, you extend it into another week and you try to, because you should be able to beat Philadelphia no problem. and you try to give him time to get even more healthy. I don't know, though. I think I'm kind of the opinion that if Breeze can go, then I just think you got to roll with him. You don't want to be too cute in terms of trying to get away with things in the NFL, and especially not with everything that is on the line. And I think that although dome field advantage this season would not be what it normally is, even without fans, like we've kind of discussed, the ability to have a first-round bye, first and foremost, is absolutely massive. And maybe even more importantly, when you are an indoor team like the New Orleans Saints, and especially when you look at Drew Brees inside, avoiding a trip to Lambeau outside or even to a Seattle is it's huge. It's really big. And you control your own destiny. So make no mistake about that. I mean, I'm assuming that the Saints lose another game just because that's generally, I mean, that's what the math says, is that probably all these teams will lose another game. But the Saints can hang their hat on the fact that nobody can catch them if they win out because of the good football that they have played up until this moment. I also think that I like Breeze maybe if he's healthy returning in next week, because then he gets you ready for the Chiefs the week after. He gets kind of a week to reacclimate. Did y'all's feelings on the Steelers change at all yesterday, seeing them struggle and scrap with a RG3 Ravens team?
Not really, no. Because I still think that the Kansas City Chiefs are the team to beat in the AFC. So, not really, no.
What about you, Danny?
Yeah, I still think the Chiefs are the best team in the AFC. And the loss at defensive end for the Steelers is pretty big because that duo was really big for them.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Bud Dupree, former Kentucky standout, I believe, it looks like he has torn his ACL. Terrible way to do it too, non-contact, just plant it in the ground, and then you saw him immediately fall. That's how I tore my ACL back today. It's a really bad feeling, and it can happen at any time. So sorry to Bud Dupree. Good luck going forward. Huge hit for the Steelers. The thing about the Steelers is, look, I'm of two minds of them because they are undefeated, which in the NFL is nothing short of wildly impressive. And it speaks to a complete team that's showing up week to week, but they have so many weeks where they struggle with bad teams. They're still finding ways to win in the end, but they struggle with bad teams. And I just don't know that you can feel like y'all said, like they are up to the Kansas City Chiefs when that is the case. All right, look, thank you to everybody who got involved in today's show. Musso, Danny, excellent production work as y'all do every single day. I'll be at Red 6 Sports this afternoon, 3 to 5. You're going to come say what's up. Masked up. Doing a little remote, maybe get a little, all month of December. Red 6 Sports is having the tent sale. So literally everything in the store all December long is 20 to 75% off. Check out that. Subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Off the Bench Overtime YouTube channel for all of your Saints content. And we'll start this weekend with our Friday tier list. Christmas movies tomorrow. Let's go. OTBOT.
OTB, OT.
Gulf Coast office.